You boys ready for a Monday show? It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM at ESPNSA.com, on Facebook Live, on our YouTube channel, which you can get to at ESPNSA.com. Lots to get into on a busy Monday. Rob Thompson is off today. I'm Jason Minix, RJ Ochoa from the Saturday Morning Hangover on bloggingtheboys.com. Sitting in, James Pledger producing as always. He's the only one that gets to go to work every day. Although I got to get out and about a little bit today, and I tell you what, because my daughter had all that hail damage on the car, so we go over to the body shop and then trying to deal with the rent car, over there off of Bandera Road. It's interesting. During the pandemic and the initial shutdown, everybody talked about how great traffic was, that there was no traffic. It's back. Driving around this weekend, no major wreck on 1604, but you're stopped for no good reason. We're back to those times. And it's kind of refreshing to hear people bitch about traffic, kind of refreshing to be the one bitching about the traffic, being out in it, right?
Well, I don't know that you can speak for, us, that it's refreshing.
I speak for everybody.
You do it.
Yes.
But, I'll say this. This is a different way to look at it. It is refreshing to me to have it be scorching hot outside. I don't know. It's not the same thing, but I feel like we're making progress in that, sense, because it means okay, summer's here. Let's do it. Let's grit it and bear it. And so that's added a little bit of taste at the very least. I will say, you talk about being scorching hot. I think it's like 318 degrees outside. This is one of the things that we have to figure out. So we drop the car off over at Ansira Body Shop, then we go to Enterprise to get the rent car because right now they're not picking you up, and so it was like, all right, come and get it. Well, you go over there and you're not allowed inside their office. You stand outside. Well, it took them 30 minutes to get the car. So you're standing outside on asphalt for, half an hour, and it's 300 degrees outside. And yeah, it's, understand, all right, can't go inside. I'm good with that. But we got to figure out a way to, if we're going to be waiting outside, to wait outside in a much cooler way. If you're in the misting system business, now would be a good time to make sales calls on places that don't allow you to go inside, but you have to stand outside in their parking lot and wait. What's the most dad level misting thing you've ever done? And by that, I mean, when we went to Disney World when I was a kid, we had these, they were like bottles, like water drinking bottles, and it had a fan, and you would squeeze it like a Windex bottle, and it had the fan, and you would and then we also had the water bottles that was on a fanny pack. That's what I'm saying. What's the most dad level thing you've ever done to combat the heat?
Probably those cooling towels that you dunk in the ice water and you put them around your neck. I've had a couple of those. They do come in handy when you're cutting the grass, and then when you're done, was it all that water, or are you really sweating all that much?
Did you do that afterwards? Just get it all done?
Yeah, wring it out. Absolutely.
When did you last cut your grass?
Saturday morning.
Ooh. Really?
Yeah.
You don't have a yard guy yet?
Were you listening?
Oh, no. All right. So, you didn't know that. So we moved into the new house, and I went and bought a lawnmower and a weed eater and an edger, partly just because I'm bored. I haven't gotten rid of my yard guy yet. He does it every other week. So I know that I am actually going to do this, and it also takes some pressure off of me if I don't get around to it. So,
or if you mess it up. They only look bad for a week,
Well, I'm really particular about how my yard looks.
Hard time believing that.
And I'll tell you, the weed eating part is much harder than I forgot. That I remember. But I'm very particular about weed eating in general. And I added in this sidewalk, which I thought. And it is a brilliant idea, and it looks spectacular, but going from the back of the house all the way to the front. But all I did was make it a pain in the ass to mow on that side of the house
And between now weed eating that entire sidewalk, along with the side of the house that's over there, and then all the flower bushes and all that, you spend forever amount of time just weeding. It actually takes longer to weed eat than it does to mow. But I bought a lawnmower and I've been using it actually. But Saturday morning I've been cutting the grass every other week, and then Rigo does it on the other weeks.
And you made it harder for yourself because when you weed eat over there now, you have to, I imagine, get the hose and wash off all the additional grass that has ended up on your brand new sidewalk.
You get the blower. Again, some of the pandemic purchases that we've all made, the air fryer was one of the others. And if you remember very early on in this, when we were all watching TV, we did a segment on what's the one commercial that you've seen so much that you bought. I bought one of those bionic flex hoses, and honestly, it's cool. And so yeah, I'm the old dude standing out there washing off my sidewalk on a pretty regular basis. But it's a new sidewalk. I gotta keep it clean.
Towel.
I haven't gone. I haven't gone bucket hat yet.
Hat. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I haven't gone bucket hat yet. I drive around and I've got this neighbor who's got a beautiful yard, and he's always out there working on it. But, and he's retired school district employee. He's got the bucket hat, the shoes, and the black socks. And I just can't get to that level, right?
You need the bucket hat with the netting on the back to where you get the full service protection from the sun.
Do you,
I've got to do something because I went to a friend's house yesterday for a socially distanced swim party, and you take your shirt off and you realize, I need to do this a little bit more often because I think I was, I have much more of a farmer tan than I realized, and it was. That's
what I was going to ask.
Kind of embarrassing.
Two things. One, do you wear a polo while you do it as opposed to a t-shirt? That's
t-shirt.
Like. Okay,
t-shirt.
Because polo's like grandfather mowing the yard. But do you tuck the shirt in or not?
No.
Do your shorts have a belt, or are they like basketball shorts?
No belt. Sometimes basketball shorts, but Saturday I was wearing basketball shorts, and I was wearing my old ESPN volleyball tournament thing that we did a couple of years ago. That was the t-shirt I was wearing. All right, so it's funny you bring up polo shirts. I have forced myself over the last couple of weeks to start wearing more polo shirts. So,
we can see that.
I mean, initially it was concert t-shirts every day, and literally I was going somewhere and I was like, okay, I'm going to put on a shirt. And I noticed there was like a little layer of dust on all my polo shirts that haven't been worn from inside the closet, which kind of stunned me because, it hasn't been that long. But I thought, all right, I gotta clean those off and start wearing them to a degree. But I'm still wearing shorts. I have not yet worn pants since this whole thing started. Have not seen a pair of jeans in a couple of months.
Well, I'm proud of you for mowing the yard. I agree with Pledge. Like maybe the netting hat or like a straw hat. If you at any point,
boys, Father's Day is coming up, and
Erica, get it done.
If you want to get me something, my daughter has her own list of things that I am going to provide to her. I will give my wish list to my wife. That won't be on any of them, but if you two feel the need, sure.
We should do this, RJ.
We can get you a pair of Boston Celtics shorts to match ours, maybe.
I mean, there's a lot of gifts that never get used. If you want to be in that category, go ahead. Okay. I mean, that's a part of it. Speaking of the Boston Celtics, the NBA is ready to get started again. We will talk about that. I was on a Zoom conference call with the Spurs general manager, Brian Wright, about an hour and a half ago today. Pledge was a part of that as well. Brian Wright talking about what it's going to be like with the restart. The Spurs did open up their facility for the first time today, and one guy won't be there, Lamarcus Aldridge. He apparently had surgery in April. We found out about it today on June 8th. He is out for the season. So for those of you, Rob Thompson, that wanted to make sure we didn't make the playoffs. I think the Spurs are making sure we don't make the playoffs. But Lamarcus, what does the injury mean? What does that mean for the Spurs on the restart? We will get into that. The baseball players back and forth with the owners. There is a new proposal. We are now at 76. So we go from 50 to 60 to players say 114. Owners counter back with 48. The wine. Now we're at 76. Let's see where this ends up. But right now, that is where we are. Speaking of things coming back, NFL reopening, they've listed all their protocols. Cliff Kingsbury said, everybody saw my beautiful house during the draft. I still want to work from home. I like the Zoom flow better. So, while facilities are open, there are some coaches like Cliff Kingsbury that say, I'm going to stay here. I can get a lot done from my pool. So we'll keep that going. Speaking of things being reopened, the UIL allowed high school athletics to restart today. Kelly Parker, the new athletic director for NEISD, he will join us coming up at 5:15 to talk about what that all looks like. Some interesting things in the news, including Joe Exotic, who apparently won't be with us much longer. And you got Des Bryant calling out the Joneses and Jason Witten. We'll get into that as well as we continue here on the Blitz. And, of course, we want you to be a part of the show. You can get us on the Matic McMurphy Irish Sports Bar Twitter feed. He is at RJ Ochoa. You can tweet at me at Jason Minix. And, of course, Pledge is at I Am Pledger. Or you can dial us up on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. Kielbasa breakfast links are now available at HEB stores throughout the San Antonio area. And these breakfast links are uniquely Kielbasa. Like the dinner sausage you already know and love. These links are crafted in small 150-pound batches with premium cuts of pork and hand-blended spices. They're bursting with flavor. They're not the breakfast links you usually find in stores all dry and shriveled up. These ones are fantastic. They come fully cooked, so you can pop them in the microwave for an easy breakfast on the go. If you're on one of those no-carb diets, these breakfast links are perfect. They're premium, small-batch breakfast links that live up to Kielbasa's high standards of quality. If they're not the best breakfast links you've ever tasted, call Michael Kielbasa. He'll give you your money back. Take your breakfast to the next level. Get into HEB. Get those Kielbasa breakfast links today.
ESPN San Antonio's Dad's Distancing Dough, presented by Southern Recipe Small Batch. Enter to win now at ESPNSA.com and give Dad the best gift ever. The chance at $1,000, plus a year's supply of Southern Recipe Small Batch pork rinds.
This is for hours.
There's nothing like making a meal with every pot and pan you own.
Hours of dishes.
Savor every bite of this meal, Chef, because for dessert, you'll be having
so many dishes.
Dish the dishes and get Taco Bell's $5 Chalupa Cravings Box instead. A Chalupa Supreme, beefy 5-layer burrito, crunchy taco, cinnamon twist, and a medium drink for only $5. Order ahead and get yours at Taco Bell's contactless drive-thru. At participating locations for a limited time. Prices may vary. Tax extra. Drinks exclude freezes.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
My name is Tino, and I want to tell you about the Institute for Functional Health. I met Dr. Torres not long ago. I was overweight, my joints were inflamed, and I was in constant pain. I had visited doctors before, but lost all hope because the treatment options were all the same. Surgery or a bunch of prescribed medications I did not want to take. I called the Institute for Functional Health to set an appointment with Dr. Torres. Over the next few weeks, Dr. Torres changed my life. I've lost 30 pounds, have more energy than ever before, no pain, and my labs are perfect. Even my former doctors cannot believe it. I am now 61 and feel like I am 31 thanks to Dr. Torres and his staff. I feel incredible. The results were so good, my wife called the Institute for Functional Health. Dr. Torres has totally changed our lives.
Call Dr. Torres at the Institute for Functional Health for a free consultation. 468-1891. That's 468-1891 for the Institute for Functional Health.
The great thing about facts, they're proven. Like the fact that crude oil contains impurities, or that base oil made from natural gas is 99.5% free of impurities. And the fact that Pennzoil is the first synthetic motor oil made from natural gas, not crude oil. It gives you unbeatable engine protection. The proof is in the Pennzoil. Based on Sequence 4A wear test using SAE 5W30.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. In the O'Reilly Auto Parts mobile studios, RJ Ochoa over at his house. In for Rob Thompson today, I'm Jason Minix, live in my kitchen. And, of course, James Pledger is back at the ESPN San Antonio studios. Big news today with the San Antonio Spurs. Good news, bad news? I guess it really depends on what you wanted from the Spurs when they restart. But Lamarcus Aldridge is out for the season. Yep. He had surgery in Dallas on April 24th. Now, bring some memory to your memory. He got hurt Utah late February, but he came back and he was playing well. But I guess with the layoff, and maybe they were thinking at the time, well, maybe there won't be an NBA season, but whatever the case is, Lamarcus Aldridge did have surgery. He won't be a part of the restart. Spurs general manager Brian Wright talked about it with the media earlier today.
As you saw, I can't remember before things shut down, he had the initial injury back in late February to the shoulder and missed a couple weeks, came back and played in the Dallas game. We tried to, take advantage of the hiatus period with rehab and him working to get back. And unfortunately, it just didn't progress the way that we all had hoped. And the best pathway from there was the surgical procedure. So we decided to move forward with that and get him ready for next season.
So he'll be available for next season, but for this restart, these 8 games down in Orlando, RJ, he's not going to be a part of it. And it really is going to make it that much more difficult for the Spurs to make any kind of run. Now, they're 4 games back, 8 games to play. They haven't had a 4-game winning streak all season. But I don't know if any of the stuff that, we saw last year up until the shutdown, how much of that matters. I mean, nobody has played in 3 months. Spurs were playing pretty good basketball when we had the shutdown. One of their best games was the last ones before the shutdown. But without Lamarcus Aldridge, it's probably damn near impossible for them to make up those games, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, so you started this off kind of saying this depends on if you're more, I don't even know if it's glass half full or glass half empty, but on what your goals are. I mean, I know you're greedy and, of course, everybody wants everything, and believe me, we all want health for all people. So I'm bummed to hear that Lamarcus was ever in a state that he, was ever in not optimum health. But all of that aside, in its proper compartments, this is the best basketball news for the sake of the San Antonio Spurs. I am a believer in that. It is a bummer that we won't get to watch Lamarcus, and I am sad for that. But the option to move forward to 2021 seemingly exists, and I feel like we just – we at the very least pulled the tarp off the car to take that ride. You know what I mean? Like, well, and dusting it off.
I mean, you look at it, and you can look at it a lot of ways. For a lot of people,
getting to 23 straight seasons with the playoffs and having that record all to ourselves, not having to share it with anybody.
Sure.
That was important to a lot of people. You got a pandemic and a season-ending injury to a star player, and isn't that why most teams don't make the playoffs? Golden State, injuries to key players derail your plans, and you go, oh well, that is a part of it. The bright side is you get 8 games. You're probably not going to make up the 4 games needed to get into the postseason, but they do get 8 games where you would think you're going to see a lot of the young players get some very valuable minutes.
It's a great opportunity for them, obviously, to continue playing, continue development. I think in the last few weeks of the season, you got to see a little bit of Keldon Johnson and what he brings to the table. And I think you'll see that growth and development from a lot of our young guys. So those 8 games are important for us to evaluate, but for them to continue to grow. And so, obviously, like you said, Coach Pop controls the minutes. He controls the game, but it's obviously a great chance for them to continue their development process that they started at the beginning of the season.
That's Brian Wright, the Spurs general manager, on a conference call about 2 hours ago or so with the media. It started about 2:30, and you look at this and you go, all right, we speculated before we knew any of this of, well, how many G League players are you going to be able to bring? What are the roster limits going to be? What if somebody gets hurt? What if somebody gets sick? How are they going to do that? And then I think just starting off without a Lamarcus Aldridge, and my guess is he doesn't even go, right? I mean, they haven't officially said that, but why would he? I mean, you're going to be able to train and rehab here in San Antonio. And again, the facility opened back up today. There's some rules there, the amount of people that can be at the facility at the same time. Brian Wright was very clear on the press conference, the Zoom conference. Has the media come up with a good name for these Zoom press conferences yet? But he was pretty clear that the Spurs waited to open the facility. They wanted to make sure that the testing that they're doing does not take away from general public tests. There's not a sense of prioritizing the Spurs over the general public. They wanted to see the downturn, and as he said, guys just thrilled to be able to get back over there.
All of our guys are excited to get back and get back in the gym and get going. Obviously, being shut down the last 3 months has been tough in a lot of ways. So we're excited to compete. We're excited to go. Obviously, it's a heavy lift. And, really want to commend the league office and the Players Association, Commissioner Silver, and the leaders at the PA and bringing it all together. It's a lot that has to get done between now and then, but, we look forward to getting out there and continuing to compete and finishing the season strong.
Finish it strong. Yeah. Just finish. Give me 8 games. Give me 8 glorious games.
This is not the right way to put this, because it's not cool anytime any player is hurt or needs health, recovery. And so we hope that Lamarcus is on the right track for 2021 or 2020-21. But this is really the best. I mean, how often can you get this type of, you can't get this in summer league. You can't get this, in training camp. You cannot get what these games will offer. Playoff-ish type opportunities to get them so valued corporate knowledge, and to do it without Lamarcus. I mean, that's very, very, very valuable for this particular group of players that will be out there together. I think it's a strategic punt, to have Lamarcus miss out on this. It's a punt that goes out of the 2-yard line, the best possible punt you can have in the game.
Well, and you know what? That's actually a pretty good analogy. You have to wonder, did the Spurs want to come back? Then you think about the idea of coming back, sneaking into the playoffs and blowing a chance at the lottery. Now they get to come back, and the expectation on the Spurs making the postseason is gone. I mean, it is very Spursian to have a key player have surgery on April 24th and nobody knows about it. Now, all right, it's not like we've seen a picture of Lamarcus during the pandemic with the sling on, because if we would have seen that, we would all said, "What's up?" Now, say
that date again.
April 24th.
So on March 28th, Lamarcus himself posted on Instagram, it's about a month before, and said, "All right, I won't complain about practice anymore if you just let me hoop again." Wasn't like an active photo necessarily, but that's interesting to kind of figure all this out.
And if you look at the press release that the Spurs put out, when did you say that was? That was in March?
March 28th.
Okay, so
Falcons Day.
He yeah, very nice. He comes out and he gets hurt in February, misses a handful of games, and then comes back, plays in that Dallas game, and then the league got shut down. So he was going through rehab at that point, probably still wanting to play. He hasn't posted since March 28th.
No, that was just a particular photo. He's posted a few things since then, but that was seemingly about his health to some degree.
But it is kind of weird when you think about a key player hurt. Nobody talks about it. No, not one Spur has mentioned it anywhere along the way that he had this surgery. It is kind of interesting, although because of the pandemic, I don't know if you make a big deal out of it, but the surgery is done up in Dallas. But I believe, doesn't he have a house in Dallas? So, if that's where he's at right now during the offseason, that makes it easier to have surgery. That's when you're going to do it and go through the rehab there. I saw some people on Twitter wondering why the Spurs doctors didn't do it. And my guess is if he's in Dallas and those are his doctors, and a lot of guys do have their own doctors, although after a certain player that's no longer in San Antonio and now plays in LA had his beef, I guess now you always have to question, well, why didn't the Spurs doctors do that? But
sure. I mean, this checks off so many smart decision boxes. Number one, like you said, whatever thought there was, can you pull off number 23 in a row? Gone. You get rid of that. That expectation is there. You can just kind of go freewheel this thing and play with reckless abandon, so to speak. You get opportunity for corporate knowledge for the young group. You also don't put Lamarcus through any of this. You effectively ensure your lottery pick. I mean, this is the smartest decision for like 17 different reasons.
Well, and again, you look at everything that they've been working on, and and Brian Wright talked about this quite frankly, it's been an odd time because you've got to make plans for the rest of this season. You got to make plans for next season. You got to make draft plans. You got to look at free agency plans, and hell, as Brian Wright said, they're trying to figure out what's next week.
During this 3-month time period, we've just been trying to figure out what's going to happen next week. And so there's obviously a lot to work through with that. We know we have some upcoming roster decisions that you would have in every normal year. And obviously this isn't a normal year. So as we've been working through this, we've been trying to plan as we always do, whether it's the draft or free agency or, managing your own roster. And we'll continue to do that to try and build out the best plan for moving forward. But this year is unlike any other, as you know.
Yeah, very much like any other year. Absolutely right. But we are going to get basketball back. Lamarcus Aldridge won't be a part of it, so we get 8 glorious games. We'll get a little Bill Land and Sean Elliott, who probably won't be in Orlando. Interesting, they might be at the Fox Studios in Dallas. Who knows? They'll get a feed.
Crash at Lamarcus's house.
You know what? It's possible. They might. It'll be interesting to see how they pull all this off. We know there's a plan for the NBA. Major League Baseball, it's now June 8th. I keep saying they're going to get it together and figure it out, but the closer we get
you a liar.
Well, I mean, look, they're their own worst enemy. But there is another new proposal. The back and forth continues. We'll tell you where that pendulum is at when we continue here on the Blitz. It is hot outside today. Want to make sure your AC is working. make sure if you're having issues with your AC, you call my friends at Quartermoon Plumbing, Heating, and AC, 210-651-5899. Quartermoon has great maintenance programs that ensures your unit is ready for every season. If you haven't gotten your AC tuned up yet, you can still get that done. You should get that done. But if you're going, man, it is just hot in here, I don't know what the deal is, call Quartermoon at 210-651-5899. At Quartermoon, they are experts at worst-case scenarios, full service, big job, small job, residential or commercial. Their service trucks are fully stocked, and they have all the equipment needed for any job. At Quartermoon, they do not have commission sales reps. They'll provide estimates and second opinions. They have a great experienced staff that has earned an A-plus ranking with the Better Business Bureau. Quartermoon, Heating, Plumbing, AC, 210-651-5899, 651-5899, or online, quartermoonplumbing.com.
Never get left out of the conversation. Tweet the show on the Maddie McMurphy's Irish Sports Bar Twitter feed at ESPN_SA.
That's my bad. I was sending a tweet.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
I'm James Pledger, and the San Antonio Spurs postseason aspirations took a bit of a hit as Lamarcus Aldridge underwent arthroscopic surgery on his shoulder back on April 24th and will now miss the remainder of the season. Aldridge injured his shoulder on the game against Utah February 21st, and after playing against Oklahoma City on February 23rd, missed the next 6 games rehabbing before returning to score 24 in San Antonio's win against Dallas on March 10th, just before the NBA season was suspended due to the coronavirus. The 7-time All-Star is expected to be fully cleared for basketball activities prior to Spurs training camp to start the 2021 season. In Major League Baseball news, the owners have countered the players' 114-game proposal with a 76-game schedule. The plan also reportedly includes 75% prorated salaries, but a $200 million postseason pool for the players. The season will begin around July 10th and end in late September, with the playoffs ending no later than October 31st. The MLB Players Association has been asked to respond by Wednesday, but based on player reactions, the prospect of a 48-game season seems likelier, according to ESPN MLB insider Jeff Passan. Finally, in college football news, as football players across America return to campus to begin voluntary workouts ahead of the 2020 season, there have been a few who have tested positive for COVID-19, and Texas A&M was no exception, as Aggies athletic director Ross York reports less than 5 Aggies tested positive for COVID-19, and all were asymptomatic. I'm James Pledger for ESPN San Antonio.
Diamonds Direct celebrates the reopening of our local economy with our most amazing offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with no money down on anything and everything. Yes! Now, for a limited time, Diamonds Direct is doing our part to help you get back to normal and celebrate your love like never before. Our prices and values are the best ever. Our showcases are fully stocked, and we're letting you buy now with nothing down, and you can spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest. Been putting off that engagement? Get her a $6,000 designer ring now and pay just $100 a month. Did you miss celebrating that anniversary? How about a $3,000 Diamond Eternity Band for just $50 a month? Summer is the season for love, and we're doing all we can to make this summer one to remember with exceptional values, extra selection, and the most exceptional finance opportunity. 5 years, 0 interest on approved credit. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Thomas J. Henry has been named one of the best places to work in the nation for 2020 by Glassdoor. Start your career today at tjhlaw.com. That's tjhlaw.com. San Antonio, Texas.
Napa know-how. Father's Day knickknacks. That funny mug, ironic tie, or worse, IOU coupon books. It's time to get yourself something you want, Dad, like a Craftsman half-inch corded impact wrench for $99.99. It's the perfect gift to give to yourself. And while you're here, don't forget to shop all our great deals on Craftsman tools. Quality parts, helpful people. That's Napa know-how.
Napa know-how.
At participating Napa Auto Parts stores while supplies last. Offer ends 6/30/20.
Now's the time to haul home Kubota durability and versatility. Get a great deal on the Kubota L2501 DT compact tractor with loader, 20-foot orange line trailer, and Land Pride box blade and rotary cutter. It's everything you need to get every job done right. Right now, bring home this package deal for $19,999 or $259 a month. now through June 30th. See us or go to KubotaUSA.com for full disclaimer.
From the Gulf of Mexico to the hill country of Texas, for over 70 years, Ewald Kubota is your Kubota dealer.
I hate Tom's Tulip Shop. It just smells so flowery. Like we get it, you're a flower shop. You don't need to remind us.
No matter how hard you work for your small business, online reviewers will find something to complain about.
I needed a fake plant. They don't sell fake plants. Thanks for nothing, Tom.
And while Progressive can save you from these trolls, we can help you save money on commercial, auto, and business insurance.
Then he says, have a great day. I'll decide what kind of day to have.
Get a quote online today at progressivecommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company, affiliated and third-party insurers.
Trade Pros. Ferguson is committed to making business with us the easiest part of your day. Ferguson.com is designed to help run your business from the office to the job site by making your day-to-day activities easier with 24/7 account access, unmatched online inventory, and on-the-go account management. And with our Pro Plus customer loyalty program, you can earn points with every online purchase, redeemable for merchandise, event tickets, trips, and more. Sign up today at Ferguson.com.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM at ESPNSA.com. The Blitz always brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. An experienced personal injury attorney is just a phone call away at 210-900-0400 or lawyerforus.com. Rob is off today. RJ Ochoa is in. I'm Jason Minix. Pleasure producing as always. Lots going on a day like today. RJ's here now. Might dip out for a few minutes because he has discovered Facebook Marketplace.
Beautiful thing.
It really is an incredible thing. And dude, I understand, man. Guys got to come over, and now is his only time. You got to make that sale, jump off, make some money, man. That's what it's all about.
That's right. I'm grinding. You know what I mean? I'm letting my money work for me. That's how I'm rolling.
Mm-hmm. I mean, that's what has to happen. So if you hear the doorbell and then the dog bark, he'll dip out, but he'll be right back. That's what we do. And, there's the ebb and flow. That's kind of how radio works. We're a 3-hour show. You come in, you go out, you get home, you get where you're going. And so like I just saw on our Facebook live feed, some guys like, why aren't you guys talking about Lamarcus Aldridge? Well, we have. But if you're just tuning in, Lamarcus Aldridge out for the season, shoulder surgery.
What did he post on Instagram on March 28th?
Well, he had surgery April 24th. It's June 8th, and the Spurs just told us that he had. I mean, and if you did they not realize every Tuesday we do the injury update? I mean, we could have used this information. I mean, we could have dissected the shoulder surgery. We'll get into more of that tomorrow. I'm curious though, with the way the season is going, and when the restart is scheduled, Spurs say he'll be fine for the next season. He's just not going to be a part of this season or the 8 games. Now, baseball, we still have no idea what they're doing. Baseball is their own worst enemy. You look at the NBA was able to put this together because the league and the Players Association work so well together. The NFL, there's some friction between the league and the association, the Players Association, but they do have a very good working relationship. Major League Baseball does not. Major League Baseball is it's like watching some high school couple have an argument and a fight and a breakup and then you're back together and then you break up again and then you're back together and then his friend said this and her friend said that and I don't know, just play ball.
Wow, I don't think that baseball knows what Instagram is, to be fair. But I also think that there's a lot more drama than even you've described in this high school analogy, because there is like did you see what he liked on Instagram? You know what I mean? Like there's a lot of that going on. You know what I mean? He changed his profile picture. Like that's the level of drama that the MLB's at.
It is very childish. But Major League Baseball, according to Jeff Passan, the latest proposal is a 76-game season. All right, cool. Let do it. I mean, aren't we kind of right in the middle?
You know, we had 114, we had 48, now we're at 76. That seems like a pretty happy medium. Now, the return to play economic package, blah, 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 higher potential salary than the last one, but less guaranteed money. Look, nobody's going to make what they thought they were this year. At what point does baseball get to, if we don't make a decision, it ain't happening?
I think I'll make it more fun, because I think a date would be just lame, right? Like if I said like August 6th or whatever, that would just be lame. I'm a little bit more colorful than that. I think the moment the first ball is thrown in the air for a jump in Orlando, if there's no, you know, if there's not like a legitimate, authorized, signed, maybe it has to be notarized plan from baseball, we ain't getting it. Because at that point, they're way too far behind.
Well, here's the problem I have with that is that first ball in Orlando with the NBA is July 31st.
Right.
Major League Baseball wants their season concluded by Halloween.
That's
so
why I mean, that's a good point.
Well, it doesn't have to be this week. If you're going to try to play 70 some odd games, unless you're playing triple headers on a daily, and players aren't going to go for that.
And then the playoffs.
I mean, if we're not watching Major League Baseball July 4th, I don't think we're going to see Major League Baseball. There needs to be a hard, fast deadline that the league needs to come up with and says, look, by June 15th, which is next Monday, if we don't have an agreement, we're got to scratch this entire season. Because at what point with safety, spring training, get all your games in, and again, deadlines make deals. Give me a deadline. Make a hard, fast, you've got the balls to make this statement. And if a deal isn't done, then you know what? We just won't have a season. Do the owners have the stones to do that?
No way.
Well, I mean, you look at it in a lot of ways. Let's look at Dak Prescott, because everything revolves around the Dallas Cowboys quarterback, no matter what it is we're talking about. There is a deadline in July that a new deal is reached or he plays on the tag, right? Now, there's an alternate there because he could play on the tag and then they could tag him again. But that deadline generally gets the deal done for most guys, right? And yeah, I mean, it's true.
Yeah, no, for sure.
But there's a safety. There is a safety net because he can still play and just be on the tag. There will be after the second tag. I mean, what are you going to do? But I mean, deadlines create deals, and a lot of us expect Dak to sign his deal at the deadline. There's no urgency and no reason for him to sign it anytime sooner. There's no reason for Jerry to meet the Dak Prescott demands before the deadline, because I'm sure if Jerry were to meet his demand today, he would sign the deal. But there's no reason for Jerry to do that today.
I don't see. I don't know what the owners benefit from. I mean, you know what I mean? Like, and I think, like, obviously the owners are trying to make as much money as possible. But you know what? Like, and I'm being dramatic here, 1% is better than no percent. You know what I mean? And so I think at a certain, I think they're the ones to blink first here. I mean, maybe it's just taken a lot longer for them to blink. But you mentioned Dak. That's obviously past your July 4th deadline. So do you think that when Dak signs, assuming that happens, which is a whole different assumption, that there will be a baseball game on in the background?
Yeah. Yes. I mean, now I thought we were going to have baseball. I mean, Major League Baseball is not Conor McGregor. They don't just all retire every time he gets pissed off and mad at Dana White, right? By the way, he's retired again. Maybe third time as a charm.
On Facebook like 3 seconds ago. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So I mean, if you look at it, I can't imagine that all these players are willing to risk no money for the entire year when there is an opportunity to get there. And this is your typical Major League Baseball negotiation that, you know, like Major League Soccer players ended up ratifying their deal because they didn't want to get locked out. They realized those owners were serious. This is what it was going to be. Okay, well, here we go. Players have to get there too. I can't imagine that either side wants to be responsible for no baseball, and they've got the ability. Major League Baseball has the ability right now to be the first major pro sports league in America to return and own the spotlight for a solid month before the NBA gets back and before the NHL gets back. They miss this opportunity, and then they get lost in the weeds when there's NBA playoffs going on, potentially NFL football, college football, and
PGA Tour, international soccer.
I'm saying that I mean Major League Baseball for American sports. Because if you watched any of the Korean Baseball League, you realize you actually see better baseball at the Wolf. But it's something right now, and if you're up that late, you watch it. Even if it isn't great baseball, we're watching it right now. Although I'm really getting into this Bundesliga soccer thing.
Bundesliga.
However you say it. I'm not into it enough to pronounce it properly. But again, baseball has this golden opportunity. And if they miss, if they swing and miss here, or worse, watch a fat, meaty fastball go right down the middle and keep their bat on the shoulder, the ramifications are going to be huge for Major League Baseball. They've got to figure this stuff out. It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. Lamarcus Aldridge is out for the season. He had some shoulder surgery. We'll get into that coming up. Also, Kelly Parker, the athletic director at NEISD, he will join us as UIL has allowed public schools to open back up today in the weight rooms and athletics and all that kind of stuff. We'll get an idea of what's going on over there. And, all those players that are showing up, they have to have a mask. If you need masks for your employees, for your athletes, you need to go see Sam over at Sammy's Embroidery Club there on San Pedro. Sam is open, and he's got the mask. He's got washable, reusable cloth masks. If you need those for your employees and you want your logo on it, he'll do that for you, whether you're talking about a mask, if you're talking about those gaiters, you want your logo on them, call Sam. Minimum order of $25 to get the logos on them, or you can buy them individually without logos. But and let's face it, if you're like me, you start realizing, man, I've been wearing the same mask for a couple of days. You need multiple masks. You can't just have one. You throw one in the washing machine. You got to have another one ready to go. And then I've got a mask in my car, put a mask in my wife's car. I've got a mask grab your wallet, grab your keys, grab your mask and your phone, and let's go. So if you need extra masks, if you need masks, go see Sam there at Sammy's Embroidery Club. If you're in the medical field, at a dentist's office, a doctor's office, a hospital, an urgent care center, and you're having trouble getting masks, and a lot of those places are having trouble getting masks from their normal suppliers, call Sam. He has them. He has the surgical medical masks, the KN95s, and disposable surgical masks that are certified FDA and CDC approved. These are the real things. In fact, he's been supplying those masks for the city, for the county, for surrounding counties. He even has the contract for the state of Illinois because he is an approved vendor. If you need masks, call Sammy's Embroidery Club, 210-824-3900. And, of course, it's Sammy's Embroidery Club. If you need uniforms for your employees, whether they're medical gowns, if you need uniforms for your workers, you need your roofing company logo on T-shirts for your guys that are up on a roof right now fixing roofs after all the hailstorm, call Sammy's Embroidery Club. He'll get you taken care of. The phone number, 210-824-3900. Check the website, samsembroidery.com, or you can go visit that massive showroom. It's on San Pedro, a mile inside Loop 410 next to Big Lots across from McDonald's. All items do come with the warranty, and you work with Sammy on your project. He's the owner, and he's by his phone right now, 210-824-3900. 824-3900 for Sammy's Embroidery Club.
We see you.
We hear you.
We denounce systemic racism,
We condemn violence,
inequity,
and injustice.
We pledge to use the power of our platform to spread facts and educate our communities.
We will be the change that we are calling for.
We are united for justice.
Is your portfolio concentrated in the international markets, especially China? Hi, this is Darrell Lyons with Pax Financial Group. It could be time to have Pax Financial Group do a checkup on your portfolio. Also, if you were recently laid off, before you withdraw from your IRA, talk with Pax Financial Group. We will double check to make sure it's a good long-term decision. Call Pax Financial Group at 210-881-5700 or online at paxfinancialgroup.com.
Investment advisory and insurance services are offered by Pax Financial Group.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. And I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Work at home. Work out at home. Second period math at home. Date night at home. Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you get the same reliable coverage you'd expect, but only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save more with Allstate. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote.
Price based on driving behaviors and includes daily rates subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
Jason Minix here for Alamo Water Softeners, a great locally owned, family-run business. Since day one, founder Alan Townsend's goal was to set the standard in the water softener industry. They're a great local company. They support other small local businesses. And at Alamo Water Softeners, their goal is to educate and guide their customers joyfully with a servant's heart while offering affordable water softeners. Learn more online at alamowatersofteners.com. Check out their Facebook page or call Alamo Water Softeners at 210-274-6122.
We're here to tell you about Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
No, this is the song.
Well, this is embarrassing.
Step up with Boost Mobile's new upgraded network. Stronger signal, faster speeds, more coverage than before. Switch and get 4 unlimited lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. 4-line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
And you're standing on the edge, face up, cause you're a natural. I'm bleeding harder, you gotta be so cold to make it.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson today, dancing over in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Mobile Studios. What's your shirt say today, RJ?
Golf.
Just Nike Golf?
Yeah.
Because Ruben Chapa on our Facebook Live says your shirt today is fire.
Yeah, it's I actually so it says golf on my chest. It's got a Nike logo on my left sleeve, and on the right sleeve, shout out to the fine folks over at TPC Valero Texas Open. Got this shirt in the like the gift shop they put together out there on the back of 17. I don't know, I think it was like 2014 maybe, but yeah, it's a comfy shirt.
You've had that shirt since 2014?
Something like that, yeah.
Okay.
Are you saying like you don't have any shirts that are older than the last 5 years? Is that what you're trying to say?
Nope, not at all. Not at all.
I don't believe that
but,
for a single second.
No, I have lots of shirts that are that old, but you typically make fun of me or Rob if we're wearing a shirt that
because y'all's old shirts are like the ones that like Brett Favre got drafted in. This old shirt is like a normal old shirt. That's the difference.
RJ's shirt looks brand new. When y'all wear an old shirt, it looks like it's a decade old.
I didn't say that, but I don't disagree.
Well, I mean, but if I wear like a concert shirt from, I don't know, a concert 4 years ago or 5 years ago, you've said like, well, haven't you seen them since? Wear that shirt.
Well, yeah, because when you guys wear concert shirts, it's like, they don't tour anymore. Like they didn't tour in the age of DVDs. I mean, so that's why.
Uh-huh.
It's not true.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Yeah. So
by the way, that's how you know we've been doing this a long time, is that you ran out of concert shirts. Like, think about that. That the odds of that were wild at the beginning of all this.
Well, you know what? When we were supposed to do this for 2 weeks, I can go 2 straight weeks with concert shirts.
That's what I'm saying.
Not doubling up. We're 3 months into this thing, man. You're right. I've got to recycle the concert shirts. But see, when I bring them back, it'll all be new again. But I had to wear. I needed to start wearing some golf shirts and feeling better. Yeah,
shout out to Ruben.
Part of it. Yep, good job, Ruben. Elmer Fudd and Yosemite Sam are no longer going to have guns in the new Looney Tunes cartoons. They just launched on HBO Max Looney Tune cartoons, and while they still do some of their, as they put it, cartoony violence, no oversized rifle or pistols for those two.
Who's your favorite Looney Tunes cast member?
That is a good question. I would have to review them all and decide who would be my favorite.
I could see you being like, who was the cat that chased Tweety Bird around?
Sylvester.
It probably wouldn't be. It probably wouldn't be Sylvester. Oh, who's yours?
That could be. I could see it.
Yeah. Nope. I don't know.
But you gotta get reversed, because Space Jam 2 coming out pretty soon.
It's been a long time since I've watched Elmer Fudd or Yosemite Sam or, quite frankly, any cartoon. Although with my kid home, SpongeBob is on my TV on a regular until I get to the remote.
Foghorn Leghorn?
Yeah, I could do a little Foghorn. But favorite? I don't know, man.
Were you ever an Animaniacs guy or just Looney Tunes?
I don't know what Animaniacs guy means, so I'm going to go just Looney Tunes.
Animaniacs was fantastic.
What is Animaniacs?
It was like a spin-off of Looney Tunes. Not actually, but it was like a cousin of the show. Same sort of thing.
Name a character.
Yakko, Wacko, and Dot.
Yeah, the 3 main ones.
I have no idea what any of that is.
That did spawn Tiny Toons, I believe, which was really cool.
No, it spawned Pinky and the Brain.
Thank you very much, Pledge. You're right. But Tiny Toons was also a cool thing.
What about Pepe Le Pew? That's Ruben's favorite.
Yeah.
He's all in. Your favorite Spur, if it's Lamarcus Aldridge, you won't get to see him in the restart. He is out for the season. We'll talk about that as we continue after the Blitz with a barking dog in the background. It's 2020 Radio.
Your source to local news in San Antonio begins with the San Antonio Express News. We've collected, written, and shown the stories that matter most to San Antonio. Look no further than the Express News to continue to provide information and strength to the community. Everyday news stories are spoken, providing hope and inspiration. The Express News is committed to providing timely and accurate reporting to help make a difference in the community we live in. Support local. We are San Antonio. We are the Express News. Come read us today at expressnews.com.
Injuries happen even during a crisis. When they do, skip the ER and get to the Ortho Now Injury Clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for injuries like broken bones, sports injuries, dislocations, and sprains and strains. With 2 locations, they have extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury with no urgent care or emergency room copay. Injured? Get to Ortho Now. Visit TSAOG.com/Ortho Now for more information.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up. Like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines. And the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Here at AutoZone, we're all about helping you get what you need to keep life moving. Like for that next oil change. Right now, you can get 5 quarts of Pennzoil Platinum Full Synthetic Motor Oil, an STP Extended Life Oil Filter, and a Monster Energy Drink, all for just $33.99. And if you need something fast, you can get it fast your way. Whether it's next day delivery or free same-day pickup, in-store or curbside. The choice is yours. Get in the zone. AutoZone. Restrictions and details at AutoZone.com.
Foot odor throwing you off your game? Stick to a winning game plan with Odor Eaters, featuring 3 advanced odor and wetness fighters. The lineup provides long-lasting odor control plus more to keep your feet on their game.
Odor Eaters powder provides outstanding moisture control. Clear drying spray is the MVP in preventing athlete's foot, while insoles work continuously to manage wetness while adding a layer of comfort. Pick up today at Walmart, Target, CVS, Dollar General, or other fine retailers.
Odor Eaters. Destroy foot odor with the best in odor defense.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Don't you put that evil on me, Ricky Bobby!
KZDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. From there, you can hit the Listen Live button, or you can even watch us live on the YouTube channel. You can watch us live on Facebook. You can hear us anywhere in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Mobile Studios. I'm at my house. RJ Ochoa is in for Rob Thompson today. He's over at his house. Pledge producing back at the ESPN San Antonio studios. You can be a part of the show on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can also get us on the Maddock McMurphy Irish Sports Bar Twitter feed, at Jason Minix, at RJ Ochoa, at I Am Pledger. Lots to get into at this hour. The question was raised in a Sports Illustrated article. Why do we play the national anthem at sporting events? We don't play the national anthem at a lot of other events. Why do we play it at sporting events? We'll get into that coming up at 5:30 while U.S. Soccer is debating changing their policy, which right now requires you to stand during the national anthem. They might take that out of their policy. But it is an interesting question. Other than tradition, because we've always done it, why do we play the national anthem at sporting events?
Not getting into politics at all, I think, and I know that's not your answer, but I think anyone that says, well, that's because we've always done, that's not a good answer. Like, that's not a good answer to anything. You know what I mean? But
there's a Sports Illustrated columnist that asks the question and figures the way to make all this go away is to stop it, which obviously isn't the right answer either.
So
but he did ask, and I don't know why, other than we've always done it that way.
My guess, and this is just a guess, I certainly don't know for sure, would be that it stems from the Olympics to some degree. I mean, obviously, like from a, you know, when you win a medal, you get to stand on the podium and they play your anthem, and obviously that's a different thing. It's not before a game, but that's the, as far as I can surmise, the first marriage of the anthem and sports across all countries. And then maybe America was just like, you know what, this is cool, let's do it. Maybe that's where it started.
Well, we'll get into that coming up at 5:30, at 5:15. Kelly Parker, the athletic director for NEISD, he will join us as the UIL allowed athletes, high school athletes, back on campus today. We'll get into what all they're doing and what day one was like for NEISD. But the big news of today is Lamarcus Aldridge is out for the season. Now, it's been a while since we've gotten an injury report, and it was nice to get an injury report, but the news was not. Well, it was just nice to get one, Pledge. You look at me like that. Yeah, we haven't got one. I mean, that's another sign of things are returning to normal. Facilities are open. Guys are getting hurt. Lamarcus Aldridge had surgery on his shoulder back in April. He had this done in April. We're finding out about it on June 8th. The Spurs general manager, Brian Wright, had a Zoom press conference with local media earlier today and talked about why LMA went under the knife.
As you saw, you can't remember before things shut down, he had the initial injury back in late February to the shoulder and missed a couple weeks, came back and played in the Dallas game. We tried to, take advantage of the hiatus period with rehab and him working to get back. And unfortunately, it just didn't progress the way that we all had hoped. And the best pathway from there was the surgical procedure. So we decided to move forward with that and get him ready for next season.
So, RJ, no Lamarcus for the 8 games coming up that the Spurs will be a part of when the league restarts. So that should cement the Spurs' position in the lottery. You know, they're going to come back, they're going to play 8, but the idea of them making a run and getting in the postseason, those odds were pretty high to begin with. They get astronomical if you think they're going to try to make a playoff run without Lamarcus Aldridge.
A good friend of mine has recently said on the public airwaves in the Alamo City that he wants it all. He's greedy. He's, he wants the cake to eat it 2, to eat it 3, and all the stupid analogies in between. He wanted everything. I think we got everything. I think we got everything. Number one, Lamarcus is seemingly healthy or seemingly on the right track towards health, which is what matters the most here. Number 2, the Spurs going to be in the lottery. Right on. Let's move forward. Number 3, the fact that Lamarcus is not going to be in Orlando with the Spurs cements, as you said, the idea that this is a futile exercise, all right, if we're being honest. There's no playoffs happening for the Spurs, so we don't have to go into all 8 games saying, they're going to make it, it's going to happen. We don't need that stress in our lives. We don't have to have that stress in our lives. This is also an opportunity to get some corporate knowledge for the young kids, the young pups, the young players on this team are going to have an opportunity that is very rare. It's not just like they're going to get to play regular season NBA basketball. This is, obviously very unique, but playoff level atmosphere, playoff like atmosphere. And that's an important thing. And, we've talked so much about asterisks and whatnot. And obviously the pandemic has created, some movement in that capacity, but this has also been an NBA season void of essentially the entire Warriors, crux. This has been an NBA season void of Kevin Durant. So you know what? I'm fine with the playoff streak happening in a year where just weirdness prevails
Chaos
everywhere. Yeah, exactly.
And that's it. I mean, and you're right in the sense of, to extend the winnings or the playoff streak to 23 years. And be the sole record holder. Because right now, the Spurs have tied that streak with 22 straight years, which is incredible. But, to get to 23, it's just being greedy. I want to be in the lottery, but I wanted the playoff streak. I want the chance at it. Now you realize no Lamarcus, no big deal. We get to play again, and we get to see some of those young players develop. The only thing I'd argue a little bit with you is everybody that's invited to Orlando, they're good playoff. They're good teams. It's playoff level basketball teams that are in the playoffs or good enough to get in. So, there's no cupcakes, on the schedule. It won't be playoff atmosphere in Orlando.
Well,
but you do.
It's a tournament atmosphere.
But you do get playoff level basketball. And for those young players, as Brian Wright, the Spurs general manager, and I will always say it that way because I'm still amazed on Twitter that people don't know that the Spurs general manager is Brian Wright, that RC got promoted. Brian Wright, the Spurs general manager, did talk about those 8 games are going to be very important in player development for those young guys.
It's a great opportunity for them. Obviously, to continue playing, continue development. I think in the last few weeks of the season, you got to see a little bit of Keldon Johnson and what he brings to the table. And I think you'll see that growth and development from a lot of our young guys. So those 8 games are important for us to evaluate, but for them to continue to grow. And so, obviously, like you said, Coach Pop controls the minutes. He controls the game, but it's obviously a great chance for them to continue their development process that they started at the beginning of the season.
Yeah, and what I find interesting, that comment from Brian Wright, Pop controls the minutes. The idea of you've got 8 more regular season games, and the reality of this team that hasn't had a 4-game winning streak all year, trying to make up 4 games in the standings over 8 games, just isn't there without Lamarcus. One thing that we know Greg Popovich loves is practice. Does he treat these 8 games in essence like he would the summer league for a lot of these young guys? Let's see what they can do, because they were all full on defense all year long, and I don't know if that gets fixed during a pandemic or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if Greg Popovich looked at this 8 games as glorified practice sessions. That while some say what's the point, I think for those 8 games, for those young players, the value in these 8 games is going to be an incredible experience for those guys. Let's talk about guys that are back on the practice field today and in the weight room. UIL is allowing high schools to reopen. That started today. Some opened, some are waiting another week. Kelly Parker, the new athletic director for Northeast ISD, he will join us coming up next. Let me tell you about BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology, because you want to protect what matters most, your family and home, and you can do that by calling BSG at 210-877-1222 or go to the website bsgtexas.com. We moved into this new house back in January, and I got a security system installed from BSG. Very easy to use on the app. Love what I'm getting from the security company. Had the same system installed at my mother's house. She can't do technology. She can handle this from BSG, and it's phenomenal. The video quality from the cameras that are outside, when somebody rings your doorbell, all of it is fantastic. Go to bsgtexas.com right now and take advantage of this incredible promotion they have. It's basically the same security system I have, $59.99 a month. You get 2 outdoor security cameras, the video doorbell, a smart door lock, which basically on the app, I can lock and unlock my door from my phone. It's got the keypad there, so you don't have to worry about a key, all that kind of stuff. 24/7 monitoring, and of course, the smart home app. No money down, no credit check. Now, most other security companies, if you've looked around, they charge you about $50 a month just to monitor, and that doesn't include your equipment. This does. It's incredible. And BSG has all the technology. I mean, not only do I have my security system through BSG, but they mounted my TV, did the surround sound for my speaker system. I can control all that on my phone as well, which is awesome. My air conditioning unit, my outdoor lights, my garage door opener. You want the smart home technology, get with BSG, 210-877-1222. They're a great local company. They've been in San Antonio for over 20 years. No gimmicks, no high-pressure salespeople. Fantastic to work with. Call them, 210-877-1222, or you can buy online and save at bsgtexas.com. That's bsgtexas.com.
The coronavirus has changed our lives. It shut down the tournament. It shut down the NBA. It's delayed baseball's opening day. When will our sports return? Get the latest right here. 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, and on the go at espnsa.com.
This Father's Day, we're celebrating Dad with more than a new tie. We're celebrating him with food to fuel his bold side. With the bold taste of Southern Recipes small batch pork rinds, you can get them in-store, online at H-E-B. And now through Father's Day, when you download the coupon at southernrecipesmallbatch.com, you'll be entered to win 3 months of pork rinds. Go online for your coupon at southernrecipesmallbatch.com. Southern Recipes Small Batch. It's a different kind of rind.
Everyone's loving what Diamonds Direct is doing right now. It's the best stimulus plan ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing on any purchase with no money down. It's Diamonds Direct's way of helping you make your money go further as we all look forward to better days. Just pick any item in Diamonds Direct showcases. Get the amazing value price you know we're known for. Make no down payment and spread your payments over 5 years without paying a dime in interest. That means a $6,000 designer ring is yours for just $100 a month. This makes everything more affordable at a time when we need it most. Rings, earrings, pendants, bracelets, bands, colored gemstones, designer fashion jewelry. Take the price, divide by 60, and that's your payment. You can even finance the sales tax. Celebrate summer, celebrate life, celebrate love with Diamonds Direct's most spectacular offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest with nothing down. Now for a limited time on approved credit. Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Nobody beats our prices on high-quality performance window tint and expert installation. It's essential to protect yourself and your family from the sun's hot rays and car thieves. Save $100 off regular winter prices when you purchase the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm package. This is a deal. Save $100 off our regular winter prices now at the start of summer. Limited to stock on hand. For 36 years, Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm special. Want to make your car go thump, 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 mother thump? Premium car stereos on sale. Sony, Kicker, JVC, JBL, Diamond, Kenwood, Memphis Audio, all on sale. GPS, remote start systems, all on sale. Save $100 on the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm special. Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm special. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
When it comes to your vehicle, you've got a fuel gauge to check the gas, a temperature gauge for your engine, and to check your battery, you've got, well, Advance Auto Parts. Advance has free battery testing and automotive battery installation with no appointment necessary. And if you're dusting off those ATVs, motorcycles, and jet skis, we've also got $10 off select power sport batteries after mail-in rebate. Your summer's waiting. Advance your auto at Advance Auto Parts and participating CarQuest locations. See store for details.
Foot odor throwing you off your game? Stick to a winning game plan with odor eaters featuring 3 advanced odor and wetness fighters. The lineup provides long-lasting odor control plus more to keep your feet on their game.
Odor Eaters powder provides outstanding moisture control. Clear drying spray is the MVP in preventing athlete's foot, while insoles work continuously to manage wetness while adding a layer of comfort. Pick up today at Walmart, Target, CVS, Dollar General, or other fine retailers.
Odor Eaters. Destroy foot odor with the best in odor defense.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. The Blitz always brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. An experienced personal injury attorney is just a phone call away at 210-900-0400. Rob Thompson has the day off. I'm Jason Menix. RJ Ochoa in for Rob. A lot of us aren't working from home anymore. I still am. RJ still is. But if you're a coach in a public school, you got to go back to work today. UIL said today is the day, and some schools did open today. Others are waiting. At Northeast ISD, they've got a new athletic director, Kelly Parker. He joins us now. Coach, you guys got to go back to work today. What was day one like?
A lot of excitement. A lot of excitement from the kids and the coaches. A lot of guidelines in place, kind of having to work around those. But I guess the main word would be excitement, optimistic, hopeful for the upcoming year.
All of that, and then some.
All of that.
When you look at all the protocols, and I know in various coaches that I talk to, or even in conversations with you, I mean you get all these guidelines, then you have to say, okay, is this workable? Is this doable? Some coaches wanted to be in the weight room. I knew some coaches just get me out on a football field and let's run them and see where they are from a conditioning standpoint. What was the overall just at least, and we'll just focus on NEISD. That's what you know best. How did NEISD handle day one?
Day one was really at all our campuses a training day to learn the protocols, the procedures. All the kids are having to come up to the campuses in a different way, getting dropped off in particular places, parking in particular places, lining up differently than normal. So really today and tomorrow on most of our campuses, they're using them as training days. They'll teach the kids the procedures, the importance of pre-screening. For the symptoms, they need to pre-screen every day before they come to school. So they're being taught the importance of that, making sure they bring a lot of water, things like that, because we can't share water. We can't offer water to them. So they're bringing their own. So really that's what we're going to do the first 2 days is train the kids on the proper way to come on campus, participate, and then also the proper way to leave campus.
It makes sense that you would ask kids to bring water. And I'm curious, what's something that, to put it bluntly, you've ordered a lot of? Because if anyone's been to restaurants, right, we've all seen a lot of plastic utensils, plastic or paper menus, kind of disposable things like that. So what's something that you guys, we're going to go through a lot of this. Let's order 5 million of them. And what do you have now?
Sanitizer and paper towels. Those two things right there. That's the most that we've ordered. And as soon as we found out we were going to be able to do this, first we looked to see what our district had, and then we started, talking to our vendors about what they had on the shelves that we could buy from them. And then, believe it or not, we had to start looking in other places because a lot of the vendors we use are low on products, and so we had to start looking at other places. And we also looked at possibly getting some sinks in there to use just soap and water, because they're telling us right now that soap and water, done right, is just as good as any sanitizer.
Kelly Parker, the athletic director at NEISD. Well, first off, congratulations on the promotion. What's it like to take over as athletic director of a major school district like Northeast in the midst of a pandemic?
Well, it was already going to be challenging enough, and now it's just that much more challenging. I'm trying to learn a lot of things that I haven't learned yet going into this. Luckily, I've got Karen Funk is still there at the offices. She's helping me a great deal. And plus, I've got other directors within the city to call up and ask for advice. The pandemic, though, is just a whole nother ball game. It's just, it's kind of a waiting game to see what we can do and what we can't do. Still waiting to find out about the fall, still waiting to find out about practices and stuff. So it's just a huge challenge. But, you just got to be patient. You guys, stay on task, and everything's going to work out.
When you talk about the fall, what other districts are you talking to? I mean, are you staying locally in San Antonio? Or are you talking to people across the state, other states? Just because there is so much uncertainty. So maybe it's not what are you guys planning, but more what are your contingencies in the event of this or that?
Yeah, I've reached out, to Northside, Stan Lango, Northside. I've talked with Coach Linhoff over at Clemens, talked with Southwest. A lot of people local, but I've also reached out to Lake Travis, Frisco, some other areas. But also our AD association does a great job of putting out Zoom meetings and webinars and things to watch and get an idea of what's going on. And usually the UIL steps in and gives us an update on what they're doing and what they're trying to get accomplished. So there's a lot of resources out there for me to reach out to find out what everybody's thinking and what everybody's trying to do. Not everybody has the same idea of how to start the strength and conditioning. Some people are waiting till next week to start. Some people are jumping straight in today. So it's interesting to hear what other people are thinking and what other people are planning on doing, because it helps us kind of organize what we want to do as well.
He is Kelly Parker, the athletic director at NEISD, joining us here on the Blitz, ESPN San Antonio. Coach, kind of a knucklehead question, but I know it's out there because, there is no playbook for this. There is no, well, this is the way we've all done it. Are you finding that, and I got to be careful how I ask this, are you finding that older coaches want to do things one way and younger coaches want to do them a different way?
Not really. I really think that everybody has been so busy discussing this with other fellow ADs and coaches that everybody understands that this is a whole new ball game, and it's not like anything we've ever done before. And I think even the older coaches who have been in this 30, 40 years understand that, everybody needs to listen to each other, share ideas, make sure we do this the right way, make sure that we don't cause more problems than solutions. And so in that aspect, I think they're all the same. I think the younger coaches, they're all listening. They're listening to everybody, listening to the older coaches. But I think the older coaches understand that this is not what we've done in the past. So they have to think a different way to make sure this works.
When you, I guess, you must be getting, I can't imagine how many calls every day. What are the most common questions from parents? Because, surely they all want to know and they all have questions that you guys don't have answers to. But what are the most common ones?
Are we going to play in the fall? That's the most common question I get from people on a regular basis is do I have any idea if we're going to be playing in the fall or not? And, of course, right now that's up in the air to still be decided. But that's the main question that I get. And I've gotten questions from parents as well as, when are our kids going to get to come up and run around and lift weights and get out of the house, basically.
Well, and that's a big part of it. And Coach, are we going to play in the fall?
I tell you, I'm very optimistic. I think we're heading in the right direction. I think strength and conditioning, if we do this right and everything works out well, I think that the UIL, the TEA, the governor, they'll all look at it and make a decision. But again, we've all been traveling around and seeing how people are getting out and about and going to restaurants and things like that. We just got to hope that, that graph doesn't change and the COVID cases start to spike up. So, I mean, really, there's a lot of things that dictates whether we play in the fall. But I'm optimistic that we're going to go out there on a weekend and we're going to see the bands in the stands and the cheerleaders on the track and the teams on the field and fans in the stands.
So fans, bands, cheerleaders, and obviously football, obviously on the radio right here on 94.5 FM and AM 1250 on a Friday night from Hero Stadium. Right now, as we sit here June 8th, that's obviously the goal. But you have a gazillion meetings with the governor saying at least right now stadiums are at 50%. Is that the governor's call, or will that ultimately end up being a UIL decision or an individual school district decision on how many they'll allow in a stadium, whether it be students that are a part of it, whether it be in the band or players or cheerleaders, or the fans, the parents of, or just in general fans? I mean, is that going to be more a school district or UIL control?
I think it's going to be a group effort. I think, the governor is going to listen to what everybody's saying to him. The TEA and the UIL, obviously, a lot of what they do is based off the decisions made by the governor and his staff. And then, our district will make the final say about what we wind up doing here in our district. But I think it's a group effort. I think everybody working together to make sure that we don't do anything that starts this all over and makes us have to, go back into the houses for a long period of time again.
Jason mentioned Heroes. Have you guys considered, the prospect of isolating certain stadiums for different usages? I mean, I have to imagine thoughts like that have at least, gone back and forth across tables or across Zoom meetings at this point.
It has. But our biggest goal, to be honest, is trying to get those games going with, like I said, everybody involved, being able to participate, not leaving anybody at home. But really, we're looking at trying to have the games in the fall, not only football, but also volleyball and cross country and the other sports that start off in the fall. Those as well, are going to be relying upon decisions being made by all these people.
And of course, that also goes back to the schools being open in the fall, which I know is the plan. So, Kelly, I got to ask a couple of knucklehead questions, but they're popping into my mind because we're getting these with college football as well. Do you see a scenario if public schools are technically closed? Would there be high school football then, kind of like what we've talked about in college?
That would be tough. That's the kind of hard question to answer. But I think it would be tough to think that we're going out into the stadiums and playing football if we're not in school.
And then the other part of it, again, kind of a college football directed question and how it relates to high school football. We hear about the billions in economic impact that college football has on the universities. What would the economic impact be on, say, your school district if there was no football season or a football season without fans?
It would be there would be an impact. How much I can't really say right now. But I'll be honest with you, that's not even something on the athletic side that we're concerned about because we think, a lot of us think that the impact to the kids and the people not being able to get out and experience a Friday night lights or volleyball in the gym and things like that. That impact might even be more than important than what the financial impact would be.
Do you guys have, and I know that, you're all trying to stay optimistic, but I imagine a lot of questions have come from seniors and parents of seniors, players entering their senior year. Do you guys have any kind of plan, to put together highlight tapes or things like that? I mean, just in the event of an emergency in that case.
No, honestly, we haven't really thought about that, and I'm assuming you're talking about next year's seniors. Right. We just have to wait and play it out and see what happens. we could do highlight films for them off of their junior years and their sophomore years, but many of these kids, they decide to come out at their senior year or make varsity their senior year. So that would be kind of tough to do. But, right now, like I said, we are optimistic, hoping that we're going to get to play. And so as far as something like that, we've really not thought about that. Not yet.
Kelly Parker, athletic director at NEISD, with us here on the Blitz. And again, I mean, I know we're jumping ahead because we all want football to come back. And obviously we want to make sure everybody's safe and nobody's at risk, and looking at all the protocols that the UIL has put forth to allow. That is the number one priority. How do we do this, and how do we do this safely? Phase 1 is beginning today. When does phase 2, phase 3 kick in? And we're talking football. It's hard with all the sports. You mentioned volleyball and basketball. It's hard to play sports without with social distancing. Right now they can do some stuff in a weight room, but distance. When do we get to see players hitting each other on a football field?
That's a good question. As far as a phase 2 and a phase 3 go, we're just, all the ADs and coaches are sitting back waiting to hear from, again, TEA, UIL, the governor. And I don't think I've ever really spent so much time in my life trying to wait on the governor to come on and talk, and, and waiting on emails from the UIL and the TEA. We're all hoping that phase 2 comes quickly, and we're hoping phase 3 is right around the corner. That's a tough one to answer. We just got to, it's a waiting game. We just got to be patient.
Yeah, I think we've all learned a lot about just, politics and the government and all this and how everything works. We're all obviously looking forward to football. It's that time of year, in normal times. But in your estimation of all the sports you guys put on, what is the easiest to do in a socially distanced world?
Golf, maybe.
Golf, yeah.
Golf might be the easiest one. You can. That might be the one. And golf and tennis might be the easiest one.
Most challenges, though?
Football is going to be a challenging one, and basketball would be challenging as well, and cross country, because in cross country there's 300 kids get on the start line, and they're bumper to bumpers ready to go, and there's no way to social distance them. So cross country's tough, football's tough, basketball and volleyball would be tough too, to an extent, because them girls are out there flying around, jumping on the floor and everything. So that one would be tough as well.
Yeah, especially the ones that are right up there on the net. So I mean, right. Sports and social distancing aren't a good marriage, and so we've got to figure out, how we can do this and do it safely, and realize that there are going to be people, players that do test positive. We're seeing that with colleges that are coming back, and how we handle that. I imagine you guys will learn a lot from what the NBA ends up doing, and when the NFL comes back in college, and everybody's going to learn together. And you look at this, and I look at like Jeff Traylor, the new head coach out at UTSA, how tough his job is. It's got to be even tougher for a high school coach that changed jobs in the middle of all this, and you've got that over at Johnson with Mark Soto coming in today. Probably the first day he got to see his players with his own eyes, right?
For the most part, yes. I mean, I observed them this morning, and he had his freshman group out there, and it's the first time he'd seen them and they'd seen him. And he's got to spend a lot of time putting in his own philosophy, his own ideals, his own schemes, and things like that. And this is his opportunity to do that. So it's probably doubly important for guys like Mark Soto, who are starting out at a new school.
It's going to be a challenge, but boy, appreciate everything that you guys are doing over there. And, if anything, providing hope that we are getting closer to a football season that does happen, hopefully right about on time.
That's what we're hoping. We are hoping that for sure.
Kelly Parker, the new athletic director over at NEISD. Appreciate the time. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Kelly Parker, AD at NEISD. And again, you look at those coaches that took jobs or are changing jobs, and Soto took the job from Johnson when Ron Rittiman went over to Alamo Heights to be head coach and athletic director. And I think Coach Rittiman, met his players briefly and then was planning to move into his new office the following week, and everything has been shut down since. It's definitely interesting. One question that has been raised, why do we play the national anthem at sporting events? Think about that a minute. Why do you think we play?
I mean, I think that's a question that has an answer unique to every person. You know what I mean? I don't know that there's an objective answer, or at least if there was, I think it's gotten completely subjective over time. That's not a bad thing, but it's
a Sports Illustrated columnist asked that question. We'll talk about it when we come back, but you want to chime in, you can do it. Tweet us, call us, let us know. If you're getting hungry, you want some wings, wingstop.com, or Wingstop now delivers. Just go to wingstop.com. You get flavor delivered right to your door. 11 mouth-watering sauces and dry rubs, classic boneless wings, fantastic lunch, dinner, late night. Visit wingstop.com for piping hot wings. You can go to wingstop.com, or you can download the Wingstop app and get flavor delivered right to you. Wingstop, where flavor gets its wings.
We're number one on Kate Upton's presets.
Okay, we probably are.
But how awesome would that be?
Yes, I was.
Hi, Kate. San Antonio sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
All day, every day.
Tom has been a teacher for over 40 years. One day, I think one of the students had asked the question and he didn't remember the answer. I also noticed that he was letting his class out earlier than they were supposed to let out. I was really starting to worry.
Levi and I talked about how it would change our lives, but he was there beside me.
When something feels different, it could be Alzheimer's. Now is the time to talk. Visit alz.org/ourstories to learn more. A message from the Alzheimer's Association and the Ad Council.
Work at home, work out at home, second period math at home, date night at home. Lately, we're doing a lot more at home, which means we're doing a lot less driving. With pay-per-mile car insurance from Allstate, you get the same reliable coverage you'd expect, but only pay for the miles you drive. Drive less, save more with Allstate. Visit allstate.com or call an agent for a quote.
Price based on driving behaviors and includes daily rates subject to terms, conditions, and availability. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and its affiliates.
Wheels on road. Hardwater slowly strips the color from your clothes, and they won't last as long as they should. Even more important, Hardwater also damages your plumbing pipes. Wheels All Pro has the cure.
M18580. Augers, trenchers, blades, brooms, shredders, mulchers, hammers, compactors, planers, rollers, rakes. That's just a sample of the more than 100 attachments John Deere offers for skid steer and compact track loaders. The added versatility provided will help you win more jobs. And with the universal self-cleaning quick attach system, you can switch from one type of attachment to another in no time flat. Your John Deere dealer can help you choose the right attachments to help you run your world. Visit johndeere.com/compact attachments to learn more.
Back to work at that job, the one you realized isn't for you? Well, that's if you're lucky, right? Make your move. You can start a new life as an IT pro in as little as 4 months from the comfort of your own home, even if you have zero computer experience. Take control of your future now. Go to mycomputercareer.edu and take the free career evaluation today. Live online classes meet just twice a week. It's not rocket science. It's mycomputercareer.edu.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. If you miss any of the shows, you can always hit up the audio vault at ESPNSA.com. Powered by AA Best Bail Bonds. Our shows are all there. And while you're there at ESPNSA.com, Father's Day right around the corner. ESPN San Antonio and Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds giving Dad what he really wants for Father's Day, cash and food. You can register to win $1,000 and a year's supply of pork rinds from Southern Recipe when you register at ESPN.com. You can find Southern Recipe Small Batch Pork Rinds on shelves at HEV. Southern Recipe Small Batch, it's a different kind of rind, $1,000 in those pork rinds. And when you go to Southern Recipe Smallbatch.com, you click on a link, get a coupon, buy 2, get 1 free. pretty good coupon you can get from our friends over there at Southern Recipe Small Batch. Take advantage of that at HEB. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minix. Rob has the day off. Interesting week, to say the least, weekend. Late Friday, Roger Goodell put out a video that said the NFL was wrong, apologized. Over the weekend, we heard how that came about with some social media employees of the National Football League unhappy with the league's response. One guy in particular getting with Michael Thomas, getting other players to submit a video that we've all seen by now. And then Roger Goodell put out his video. And then, of course, Drew Brees with his retraction on what he said about the anthem. And again, trying to do this without getting too political. And then you got the president weighing it on Twitter a couple days later about Roger Goodell. And on Sports Illustrated, Jimmy Triana has a column today that said, stop playing the national anthem at sporting events. And he raises the question, why do we play the national anthem at sporting events? He you know, and he's right. I mean, there's very few places in events where the national anthem is played outside of a sporting event. As he brings up, you don't play a national anthem at the movie theater before a movie plays. You don't play the national anthem before a Broadway show, but we do at all sporting events, and nobody knows why, except for that's the way we've always done it. Now, stopping the national anthem would be a huge mistake, but that's not the answer. You're going to have more guys kneeling than ever before. You're going to have black players, white players, coaches. That's what it is ultimately going to what I think we're going to see when football season and when sports does come back around. But honestly, I thought it's an interesting question. Why do we? The answer isn't, well, we just won't play it. That will solve the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think you could ask every. I think, to put it one way, I think you could put your Facebook status as, what do you like about the national anthem being played before sports? You know what I mean? Sports games, and you would get 15 different answers of different meanings. And I think a lot of them are, it means a lot to me. I know somebody who served. I take a lot of pride in my country. I think the origins to me, just trying to do the math of it, would probably lead all the way back to the Olympics at some point, which obviously have been played for hundreds of years. So, but you're right. I mean, at this point, that I hate to call it a can of worms, but that can of worms is open. You can't just say we're not going to do it anymore. I saw you mentioned, obviously, Jimmy Traina suggesting not doing it. Clay Travis suggested blaming not doing it on the coronavirus, and talked about how there's a study that supports that singing transmits or transfers so you could, get the logic being, you could argue, if you're the NFL, that it's a safety measure to not do it. But yeah, I would guess it has something to do with the Olympics as to where it all started.
And that certainly is a possibility. Clay Travis is full of it. The idea, though, that it was a controversy. I think it did hurt the NFL a little bit initially, but not much. Ratings have always been strong. People that said they didn't watch, and then you start breaking down all those numbers, and again, you can manipulate them to whatever argument you want to make, depending on what your stance is. But the games that had low ratings were crap matchups. Games that were good matchups had good ratings. It really came down to, I want to watch football. Very few people said, screw the NFL, I'm never going to watch again if you're going to allow this to happen. I'm curious to see, and again, when you go back to when Colin Kaepernick started kneeling, and, part of his kneeling was former Green Beret Nate Boyer say kneel as opposed to sit. That's a respectful way to do it. His message got blurred because most people did not realize what he was actually protesting, and that really wasn't what we talked about. It turned into disrespecting the American flag, and that part of it, I think for a lot of people, that part of it is still going to be there, but you are going to see more and more people kneel during the national anthem, and to say, you know what, I'm with you, but you can't do that. That isn't going to work. So I'm curious for, there's a policy with U.S. Soccer. You must stand for the national anthem. They're talking about changing that policy. The Dallas Cowboys have a policy. Jerry Jones has always said, you will stand for the national anthem. They did take that knee as a team all together, including Jerry at that game in Arizona. Other players who had kneeled elsewhere when they became Cowboys, they did stand. I'm curious what happens with America's team.
Yeah, I mean, what's interesting about that particular moment is that was the 2017 season. The 2017 Dallas Cowboys were chronicled on Amazon's All or Nothing. So if you're an Amazon Prime member, you can pull that episode up, and you can actually hear Jerry Jones in the locker room as they kind of talk about how they're going to address that. So, and that was obviously, there was a lot of tension, to put it lightly, in the NFL that particular weekend. Every team took a knee. I think it was the Ravens and Jaguars that were even in London and did it together. I don't know. I don't think that Roger Goodell's statement last Friday, I don't know that he makes that unless a large contingency of owners, and specifically influential owners like Jerry Jones, were involved in the construction of that message. Because if Roger Goodell comes out and admits they were wrong and seemingly opens the door for kneeling to be allowed in the NFL without asking, say, Jerry Jones, I think that I don't think the NFL operates that way. So I have to imagine the Dallas Cowboys are maybe a little bit more open to it than they used to be.
Well, and I think, excuse me, there was a lot of, from the high schools on up, coaches practice. This is how we stand for the national anthem. Helmet on your hip, hand over your heart. This is what we do, and everybody in a straight line. And you and I've done enough high school games together over the last 4 years, and I've been doing high school football for over 20. Most teams practice it. You could tell that is something that they practiced, and this is what they do. And colleges, a lot of ways. What I find interesting there in college, I believe they play the national anthem while the teams are still inside the locker room. But one of the things in the Sports Illustrated article, with the exception of major games like Super Bowl or big playoff games, or when the controversy was happening, most of the time it's a commercial break for the television networks. You at home never saw the national anthem. It is
or the coin toss. It all is kind of one. Yeah,
it is a well orchestrated, natural TV timeout for all that TV money that we hear about. It wasn't something that was televised until it became a news story, and it was who's kneeling, who isn't, kind of thing. And then it kind of went away. Don't you kind of figure the same thing will happen the first couple weeks? We'll see it, and then it will become the norm, and the TVs will continue to go to commercial break to pay the bills.
I don't. I think as long as it's because the way it starts is they go to commercial, right? And then all the beat writers who are at the game tweet, players X, Y, and Z took a knee. And then, crowds online that aren't at the game, voice their concern. How come you weren't showing me this? How come you weren't that? And then, so, it's one never ending circle in that way. And so I don't mean to say I think we're right back where we started, but I do think that they're going to have to show whatever happens if there are players kneeling. And I think that goes for a lot of sports. You're a big Bundesliga guy now. The Bundesliga players and referees included are taking knees now.
Can you elaborate on that a little bit?
Well, so the Bundesliga is the German soccer league.
Oh, I know that, but I mean, I say that they're not playing the American national anthem before those games.
No, but they all gathered, last week on the pitch as the match was about to begin, and surrounded the center in the middle, kind of midfield logo, both starting 11s and the referees, and took a knee and kind of a moment of silence. And you're right, I think, and that's I don't want to speak for anybody, but I think the average person that has a problem with the kneeling during the anthem might be okay with that, because what's the most common response from somebody is, okay, take a knee, fine, just don't do it during the anthem, right? And that's what the Cowboys did.
That's exactly what the Cowboys did.
They had a moment where they went and took a knee, and then I think they had a big like field-sized flag that the Cardinals too and Larry Fitzgerald and everybody held. But it was a defined moment that belonged to the knee and to the protest, that was differentiated from the flag, and from the anthem, however you want to, socialize it. But I don't see how there aren't players that are taking knees during the national anthem this season.
There will be players taking knees during the national anthem. I saw one online gambling site offering odds on whether or not Drew Brees takes a knee during the national anthem this upcoming football season. It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. The NBA is going to restart. The Spurs will do it without Lamarcus Aldridge. He is out for the season after having shoulder surgery. We'll get into that coming up in about 10 minutes. Nobody ever plans on getting arrested, but it does happen to a lot of people every day for all kinds of reasons. Whether it's you, a family member, a friend of yours, you get arrested, you want to get out of jail fast. The best way to do that is by calling my good friend Albert and his great staff at AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121, or online at mybestbailbonds.com. You don't have to call attorneys or anybody else to get out of jail. You don't want to be forced into a PR bond either. If the jail offers you a PR bond, make sure you truly understand what all those conditions are before accepting it. Your best option, AA Best Bail Bonds. Nobody beats their price. They have payment plans available, offer a free shuttle service. Of course, they are discreet and confidential and open 24/7 with offices all over San Antonio and Texas, services nationwide. License number 149. Call AA Best Bail Bonds, 210-225-2121. 225-2121 or online at mybestbailbonds.com.
100% sports, 100% of the time. That's 200% sports.
Your math is blowing my mind.
San Antonio's sports leader. 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
I'll tell you guys about the Institute for Functional Health. I'm a proud member of the group. I've been going to Dr. Torres and his fine group since last September. I got an opportunity to meet Dr. Torres, and he explained to me about the idea of what weight loss really is and what weight does to your body as you carry it. If you're overweight, you're dealing with so many different issues that can be fixed so remarkably easily. If you're snoring all night long, if your joints hurt from walking too much, you have bad feet, maybe you're nearly hypertensive or nearly diabetic because of all that extra weight, you need to lose it. You want to live longer. And in these days, you want to make sure you can stay as healthy as possible. And then Dr. Torres makes it fantastic because he supplies you the game plan, a program put together specifically for you, your blood type, your dynamics were all put into play, and a program is put together. I got my game plan. I went to work, and today I can tell you I'm 40 pounds lighter. Am I where I want to be? No, but I have actually changed the way I live. I'm no longer on a diet, never was. I changed my lifestyle. If you are tired of living the way that you are, I want you to call Dr. Torres, call the Institute for Functional Health and speak with him. You will find out what I know, that being healthy starts at home and what you put into your mouth. Let me give you a phone number to call for your free consultation. It's 210-468-1891. 210-468-1891. Call, make your free appointment. Go down and check out the great facilities they've got down there near SAC. They'll take care of you. They're taking care of all the precautions. You will get the medical treatment you need for a medical issue. You are overweight. You need to lose it for the betterment of your health. Check out their website, the Institute for Functional Health.com. Do me a favor, make the call. It'll be the best idea you've had all day. You'll start losing weight, feeling better, and looking better in fashionable clothes. The Institute for Functional Health has helped me, and I want them to help you. Make that call, and I know you will thank me later.
Jason Minix here for BSG, the company that brings you the best in home security and smart home technology. Protect what matters most, your family and home, by calling BSG at 210-877-1222 or online at bsgtexas.com. You know, we moved into a new house in January, and BSG not only did my home security system, they did my surround sound speaker system, my AC thermostat, outdoor lights, and garage door opener, and it all works on the same app. Go to bsgtexas.com right now and take advantage of an incredible promotion. Get the same security system I have for $59.99 a month. That includes 2 outdoor security cameras, 1 video doorbell, 1 smart door lock, 24/7 monitoring, and the smart home app. No money down, no credit check. Most other security companies charge $50 a month or so to monitor a security system. That doesn't include any equipment. BSG is local. No gimmicks, no high-pressure salespeople. Go online now, bsgtexas.com.
Every home has things it needs, things that need to be maintained, fixed, or replaced. The Home Depot is here to help you get it done. You can easily find what you need on our app, order it online with the push of a button, and have it brought to your door with free delivery on over 1 million items. We have the essentials you need, the online know-how you may need to do it yourself, and low prices that make it all possible. The Home Depot, how doers get more done.
It could be a routine drive to pick up the kids after school or an epic road trip across the country. No matter where your travels take you, we know those miles count. We're Marathon. We have over 5,700 stations across our great nation. Our people are working hard every day to provide you with quality top-tier gasoline to improve engine performance and fuel your life. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Hollywood Go. Go.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. The Blitz always brought to you by the Thompson Law Firm. An experienced personal injury attorney is just a phone call away at 210-900-0400 or a lawyerforus.com. Rob is out today. I'm Jason in the O'Reilly Auto Parts Mobile Studios at my house. RJ Ochoa has the O'Reilly Auto Parts Mobile Studios at his house. Pledge is, he's actually at the studio.
Yay.
You know, we're all doing Zoom calls, Google Hangouts, a variety of video things at this point, right? Facebook Live, Instagram Live. Well, there's a lot of different forms out there. And we've all seen different stories and funnies about, you know, somebody, you know, walking to the kitchen in their undies while the other one was, on a Zoom call, right? At this point, we're a couple months into this. If you are naked in the background of somebody's Zoom call, aren't you doing that on purpose?
Yeah, like at this point, you have figured out the best spot in your house, both visually and acoustically. You've also ironed out schedules with your spouse or your roommate or your partner or whoever. And just, yeah, I mean, you're simple. Like, the other thing is, like, I'm almost at the point where we're so far into this that, like, barring just an accident or act of God, I don't put up with, oh, my internet sucks. You've had the time. You know what I mean? Like, you've had the time to set up the wiring and everything. Like, there shouldn't be any more issues here.
Internet issues happen. Ask Rob. I mean, they do happen, even at all the great lengths that you might go to. Chris Cuomo, his brother is kind of famous as the governor of New York. He's famous as an anchor, and he is a very fit man. This man is very much in shape. His wife was doing a live yoga class, and he happened to be walking outside their house, very, very nice mansion house there in the Hamptons. I'm going to guess he knew his wife was doing yoga, and that's where she always does yoga, and they have these huge windows. And so this very physically fit, buff dude is walking outside butt-ass naked. You can't tell me that was an accident, Chris Cuomo. You knew exactly what you were doing.
Who's walking around like that outside? Like, when was, I mean, like, I'm not trying to get too invasive, but, like, when was the last time you were, to quote you, butt-ass naked outside of your house?
Oh, it's been a while. Now I say that. Now Rob's not here to defend himself, but he the other day told the story. Now he was wearing a robe while outside looking for a dog that he thought got away, and the robe opened up, and his kid saw him. So I mean,
wearing a robe.
But I mean,
robe wears you.
I mean the screenshot that I'm seeing, this guy is looks like he did more than just go outside to take a piss off the back porch, if you know what I mean.
Well, just be careful. When you're wandering around your backyard, in your birthday suit, just be careful. Somebody might be doing yoga nearby.
I'm just saying, Chris Cuomo, that wasn't an accident. That couldn't have been an accident. He knew exactly what he was doing. His brother's getting a lot of attention. He wanted to one up his brother. You know how brothers are. Actually, you don't. You're an only child.
Right before that, he's spoken to a family member. The family's like, "Have you seen what your brother's doing?" He's like, "Oh, you want to see something? I'll show you something."
I got you. It's one of those things. We don't got Lamarcus. He's out for the season. Shoulder surgery. We'll talk about it coming up next here on The Blitz.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your source to local news in San Antonio begins with the San Antonio Express News. We've collected, written, and shown the stories that matter most to San Antonio. Look no further than the Express News to continue to provide information and strength to the community. Everyday news stories are spoken, providing hope and inspiration. The Express News is committed to providing timely and accurate reporting to help make a difference in the community we live in. Support local. We are San Antonio. We are the Express News. Come read us today at expressnews.com.
Is the summer of 2020 the year you upgrade her diamond? After all we've been through this year, can you think of a better way to make 2020 a year she will always remember in a positive way? Diamonds Direct is here to help with our best ever selection of large, rare diamonds and our most aggressive finance offer ever. 5 years, 0 interest financing with 0 down. So you can upgrade her diamond and spread your payments over 5 years with 0 interest charges. And if you bought her original diamond from us, it's even better because we'll give you 110% of your original purchase price to be used toward the upgrade. So you can really go big. If your luxury travel had to be postponed this year, make the journey to Diamonds Direct and let her escape in our world of sparkle and romance. And take advantage of our special summer of 2020 financing offer. 5 years, 0 interest with nothing down on approved credit. Diamonds Direct.
At the shops at La Cantera.
It may not be stomach issues.
For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out.
No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable.
But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms.
Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
Hi, this is Desmond Howard. You're listening to San Antonio Sports Leader, 1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
Where the pros play. KCDC San Antonio. Jason Minix, Rob Thompson, The Blitz.
It is The Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM at ESPNSA.com. Glad to have you along on a Monday after a good weekend. Rob has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. He is RJ Ochoa. RJ was doing some grilling this weekend as well.
That's right.
What'd you grill?
made some chicken, and had a good time with it. It was delicious. It was nice and juicy, and had myself a dose on the back porch, watched the dog run around, played around on my phone, and feasted like a king.
That was fantastic. I don't know what you were more excited about based on your Instagram story. Was it the chicken on the grill or the beer? I got multiple photos of the beer.
Well, so I did the classic like cliche, like let me get the grand story of the beer with the chicken in the background, and I always get a lot of comments on my grill cover because it's like a football field.
Yeah,
it's got like hash marks and stuff. And so I did that, and then I took I would say a sip, but that would be a lie. The volume was lost from the dose, but I saw the top of the what's the thing? There's got to be a name for the top of a soda can. You know
the tab. The tab.
It's the tab.
The tab.
It's not that. There's a more scientific name, but that's fine.
It's called the tab.
It's not. It's
It is literally called the tab, which is why they called it tab soda.
Cool. Yeah, I know you're both embarrassed. It's fine. But I saw that the tab had 2 X's on it, like because it was a dose, and I was like, this. And I have a buddy who actually on Saturday was telling me, dude, you got to start watching Mad Men because I've never watched it. And I was like, I don't know, it's really worth it. He was like, yeah, it's really cool to see how they advertise stuff. And so I put that photo on my Instagram story, and I was like, details matter. And he was like, dude, that's some Mad Men stuff. And ironically, today it was reported by BuzzFeed and everybody that they're taking Mad Men off of Netflix tomorrow. So,
what?
So
you got to binge all night?
This was a rocky ride.
Is it going to another streaming platform?
I'm not certain. Maybe I know the HBO Max just launched, so maybe it's going there. But my buddy's way more upset about the Mad Men thing. I'm not at all upset about it, but the little detail, the 2 X's on the tab, was pretty cool. I thought that was neat.
Was this your first beer?
It was not, but I had never had a dose in a can that had the X's on the tab like that. Have you?
You've never noticed before?
They have not had that on the tab forever.
I just think you don't pay attention to your beer cans, man.
I mean,
I mean, let's be honest.
What did you? I saw all your grilling photos. The fruit and the kebab and the veggies and the foil. We saw it. Yeah.
It was wings and sausage, corn, the veggie kebab. I made a lot of wings over the weekend. Used a couple of new rubs. But I was, because that was on Saturday, but I knew Sunday I was going to my friend Paul's house for a pool party. Although he cooked so much food, we didn't really need the wings, but it was like, what can I bring? And he said nothing. And, you can't show up to a party with nothing, right? And if you've ever met my wife, you realize you cannot show up to a party with nothing. So it's like, do some wings and make some extra. And then if you got more, we'll take them to the party.
Was there, were there pretzels, pizza, or pork at the party? This is an important question.
There was no popsicles. There was watermelon. There was hamburgers, and there was some kielbasa sausage, and there was wings, and he did some potatoes some recipe potatoes that were on the grill. Started in the oven and finished them on the grill. That actually were really good.
That works because now I can say Paul's pool party had plenty of potatoes. That's what I was really looking for, was just to hit that 5 sequence.
And it was a pool party. There were plenty of pee, right? Is that where you're going? Boom.
Well, I mean, now maybe
I'm just saying.
Maybe a particular Cuomo operates that way. But I don't. But yeah, again, alliteration is great. You have to stop at 5. I stopped at 5. You added the 6, and we didn't need it. You know what I mean?
We always need it.
You're oversaturating.
More is better.
Your more was P.
I'm just saying. I mean, you can't be at a dude's pool with 8-9 people drinking beer, and ironically, nobody gets out to go to the bathroom. At what point do you realize I just need to get out of the pool, man? Charlie hadn't moved in hours. I'm out of here.
What an amazing coincidence that nobody here has had to use the
bathroom. I mean, it was hot. We were just all dehydrated, right?
Well, is there any dose with the X's on the tabs?
Not at that party, no.
What's your favorite beer to drink out of a can that isn't like a normal out of a can beer?
I don't know what you mean by that.
Like a Dos Equis. That's not a normal out of a can beer.
Because you normally get it in a bottle, or you want it in
Correct.
A frosted mug.
Yeah, like Miller, Coors, Bud, those are all normal can beers.
Yeah, Miller Lite would be my go-to can, bottle, whatever.
We all know that.
Modelo, I do like out of a can. That is a far better can beer than it gets credit for being.
Here's my follow-up question.
Is a very good beer. You generally find it in bottles, but I have found it in cans before, and surprised how good it was out of a can.
Shiner Cheer
Yingling
out of a can.
Yingling comes in a can, and when you're east of the Mississippi, and you can find Yingling, you're doing well.
Or at Minix's house.
Or those are in bottles.
Here's my follow-up
I've got Yingling in bottles right now, not in canned beer, but we don't want to advertise that my beer fridge right now is stocked with Yinglings.
My follow-up question is, what's the best environment for a normally not canned beer? So in this hypothetical, a Modelo, a Yingling, like what's the best environment that is around in?
Well, if you're floating the river where you don't have bottles.
That's a great answer. I was going to go just like a tailgate. You know, like if we're tailgating, I'm like, yo, Jason, you want a Yingling? And you're like, you got a Yingling? And then I just toss you a can. Tell me your happiness doesn't skyrocket in those 5 seconds.
Just the fact that you would have Yingling at a Cowboys tailgate would be happiness in a can.
You know what's a normally really good bottle beer that's pretty good out of a can? It would be a Guinness. And it's got the little stopper in it to help separate it.
That's a little different. That's a bit of a special
only
answer.
For you boys that like to drink motor oil.
I mean,
I can't do a Guinness, man.
So
that's drinking motor oil.
I watched a series called Tour Sauce. It's a golf travel show, and they went to Ireland for one season of it, and they played this Guinness game that I'd never heard of before. When you get it in a glass. And so what you do is like when you first get it, you chug it and you try to leave your Guinness like black line under the word. I've never heard that before. People do that?
Yeah.
I've never seen anybody do that.
I mean, it happens.
Have you ever done it successfully?
Some weird. No, I can't drink Guinness, man. It's after I had my stomach surgery. I can't do that, man. It's just too filling.
Then just pour it out. But the game is still difficult.
Why would I just pour out a beer and waste it?
Pour the residual into a glass for pledge, just so you can say, I hit the mark.
Pledge always hits the mark.
That's true.
I mean, let's be honest. That's what it boils down to. Lamarcus Aldridge out for the season with shoulder surgery. I promise we'll talk about it coming up here on the Blitz. Speaking of injuries, if you're dealing with one, even during a crisis, you can skip the ER and get straight into an Ortho Now injury clinic by TSAOG Orthopedics. Ortho Now provides walk-in care for acute injuries like broken bones, sports injuries, dislocations, sprains, and strains. They have 2 San Antonio locations, extended hours Monday through Saturday, on-site x-ray, casting, and bracing. Ortho Now has everything you need to treat your injury, and best of all, no emergency room or urgent care copay. So if you're injured, get to Ortho Now. Go to tsaog.com/Ortho Now for more information. tsaog.com/Ortho Now.
We see you.
We hear you.
We denounce systemic racism.
We condemn violence, inequity, and injustice.
We pledge to use the power of our platform to spread facts and educate our communities.
We will be the change that we are calling for.
We are united for justice.
I've always wanted to learn another language, but every time I try, it never sticks. So I decided to give Babbel a try, and I really like the teaching method of the app. I started with the beginner lesson on Babbel, and it starts with simple words and phrases, and soon you're putting those words into a conversation. Each lesson takes about 10 to 15 minutes, and they're all really different, which keeps things interesting. The app is really smart. It actually keeps track of the words I'm struggling with so I can practice them and get better. I chose Babbel because it was created by real language teachers. They built it around real life, how people actually communicate, and what they care about. I can't wait to use my new language skills in the real world. Dos cervezas, por favor.
With Babbel, get conversational in Spanish, French, German, and more. It just takes 10 to 15 minutes a day. Now try Babbel free. Just go to Babbel.com or download the Babbel app and start learning a new language today. That's Babbel.com, Babbel.com.
Distracted driving doesn't give second chances. To see her first steps, see him scoring the winning touchdown, marrying the one you love, or celebrating 25 years of joy.
I'm Thomas J. Henry. Today, distracted driving is the #1 cause of catastrophic auto collisions and the end of life's dreams. It's best to put the phone down until you arrive or pull off the road safely.
San Antonio, Texas.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company helps you customize your home insurance so you only pay for what you need. Unlike things you paid for you didn't need, like that much-needed 125-inch flat-screen TV.
It's hurting my eyes a lot.
For your 100-square-foot bedroom.
My neck isn't so much stiff as it's completely stuck.
With Liberty Mutual, get customized home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Uh-oh, I'm seeing color splotches.
Liberty, 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 liberty. Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
From faulty breakers to broken windows to leaky pipes, roofs, and water heaters, homes and businesses around the country can't work until the pros do. That's why Lowe's created credit programs that work for pros. With everyday 5% savings on eligible purchases, plus through October 31st, 60 days promotional financing on your Lowe's business account or extended terms on eligible account receivables. Learn more in-store or online at lowesforpros.com. Putting money back in your pocket. Just one more reason Lowe's is the new home for pros. Subject to credit approval, U.S. only.
100 models getting faded in a compound, trying to love me, but they never get a post down. Cause I'm heartless, and I'm back to my ways, cause I'm heartless. All this money and this pain.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. Rob is off today. RJ Ochoa is in. I'm Jason Minix. You can be a part of the show on the Kielbasa Bacon phone lines, 210-656-ESPN, 656-3776. You can also get us on Twitter, the Matic McMurphy Irish Sports Bar Twitter feed, at Jason Minix, at RJ Ochoa, at I Am Pledger. That would be for James Pledger, who's producing it. As always, back at the studio, the Spurs general manager, Brian Wright, had a Zoom press conference today. It was supposed to be about the restart of the NBA. But right before they had the Zoom press conference, they announced that Lamarcus Aldridge had surgery back in April, and they're just now telling us he's out for the season. There will be no Lamarcus Aldridge when the NBA restarts the season.
As you saw, you can't remember before things shut down, he had the initial injury back in late February to the shoulder and missed a couple weeks, came back and played in the Dallas game. We tried to, take advantage of the hiatus period with rehab and him working to get back. And unfortunately, it just didn't progress the way that we all had hoped. And the best pathway from there was the surgical procedure. So we decided to move forward with that and get him ready for next season.
So the Spurs are going to have 8 games and be done. And the reality is, even if Lamarcus was healthy, they'd probably have 8 games and be done. But the idea of a legit shot at the postseason was there for the San Antonio Spurs. But the reality is, it was a long shot to begin with, and without Lamarcus, it's just an opportunity to get down to Orlando. You get those 8 games, and as Brian Wright said, develop those young players. These 8 games very crucial for the young guys.
It's a great opportunity for them, obviously, to continue playing, continue development. I think in the last few weeks of the season, you got to see a little bit of Keldon Johnson and what he brings to the table, and I think you'll see that growth and development from a lot of our young guys. So those 8 games are important for us to evaluate, but for them to continue to grow. And so obviously, like you said, Coach Pop controls the minutes. He controls the game, but it's obviously a great chance for them to continue their development process that they started at the beginning of the season.
That should have Spurs fans excited. RJ, I mean, if you were on the camp of, just don't screw up the lottery, then you're sitting pretty today. And then you get 8 games against playoff caliber teams for these young guys to work on their development. In essence, it's like a summer league
situation with much better basketball and much better opponents.
Yeah, I mean, I think, except for maybe the way you defined it, this is the true "can I have everything" answer, right? I mean, you've got Lamarcus's health preserved, right? You've got a huge opportunity for your young players, a lot of them. I mean, and who benefits the most from Lamarcus being out there? You know what I mean? Like, that creates a really important, opening. You've got, effectively guaranteed lottery spot. I mean, you've mitigated risk. I don't want to say you've gotten the most possible benefit that you possibly can, but you're going to get an enormous amount. And you have accepted, which is the most important detail here, the reality, in that you can let go of the 22-year streak and making it 23. It's fine. It will be okay the day that they are officially eliminated.
And one of the interesting aspects of the restart, this kind of a layoff, and I don't know what kind of gym Lamarcus has at his house. I'm sure it's much better than what I have, and considering I have none, but for an older player, it's going to be harder to get back into shape, and then you only get 8 games. The young guys, they can run all day, and as Brian Wright, the Spurs GM, said today, that these players, they're excited to get back.
All of our guys are excited to get back and get back in the gym and get going. Obviously, being shut down the last 3 months has been tough in a lot of ways. So we're excited to compete. We're excited to go. Obviously, it's a heavy lift. And, really want to commend the league office and the Players Association, Commissioner Silver, and the leaders at the PA and bringing it all together. It's a lot that has to get done between now and then, but, we look forward to getting out there and continuing to compete and finishing the season strong.
And isn't that your goal now? Compete, learn, develop, finish strong. Right before the shutdown, they were playing good basketball. They played one of their better basketball games, right before the shutdown in March. And so, to get the 8 games, and I know there's some talk about the teams that didn't get invited. What can they do, whether it's extra practice or, the losers tournament or whatever you want to call it. But I mean, the idea of not having any basketball until the start of the next season, which is December, I mean, that time off is going to be incredible. So, this practice time that they are going to get, and then the 8 games that they are guaranteed for those young players, man, that's incredible.
This, again, win-win, 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 win-win. It kind of feels like we all played golf together recently, right? You ever just lose your round in the first 4 holes? You're like, you know what? I'm just going to work on the short game today. You know what I mean? Like, the whole thing's gone. Today can just be the day I work on the short game, and I can let go of the pressure and I can enjoy the day for what it is. And that's kind of what this is. You can let go of the pressure of the streak and enjoy, and more importantly, prioritize the season and the remainder of it for what it is.
We generally try to take our personal issues out of the show. Obviously, you've had some bad golf rounds recently, including one with us, and where I got a birdie and you did not, and you're not over that yet. But that's okay, because you're right. You can work on some things. Now, the issue, though, from a competitive balance, I don't know if the Spurs can do that. They can't treat these like preseason games because other teams' playoff potential is riding on it. The
That's
the
not
Spurs,
their problem.
But from just a competitive nature, the Spurs aren't going to go in there and tank. They don't have to.
I'm not suggesting that.
Yeah, you know what I mean. I don't see them trying to go in there and go 0-8. But the idea of get your 8 games in, the chances of them making the playoffs right now, you could pay off your mortgage if you bet $100 on the Spurs winning and they somehow win a championship right now. I mean. And there's some degenerate that's actually going to do that and hope they get lucky. I mean, without Lamarcus, this is a 16 against a 1 for 8 straight games, regardless of who the other opponent is and what it ends up looking like. But I do think from future roster questions, these 8 games could end up providing some pretty good answers for the Spurs and their general manager.
During this 3-month time period, we've just been trying to figure out what's going to happen next week. And so there's obviously a lot to work through with that. We know we have some upcoming roster decisions that you would have in every normal year. And obviously this isn't a normal year. So as we've been working through this, we've been trying to plan as we always do, whether it's the draft or free agency or, managing your own roster. And we'll continue to do that to try and build out the best plan for moving forward. But this year is unlike any other, as you know.
It definitely is like any other year. But, you look at the situation they're in with no Lamarcus. I think, you can all you have to really be blinded to think the Spurs still have a legit shot at making the postseason going down there without a Lamarcus Aldridge. But, one of the questions that was asked of Brian Wright, the Spurs GM, in the Zoom meeting earlier today, you look at going back and restarting the league, some of the challenges that are going to be there. They're already going to be without Lamarcus Aldridge because of shoulder. But what about other players that get injured? Or, what if somebody does test positive for COVID?
Something that's being discussed at the league level. And so I don't want to speak out of place here for something that's going to come from the league. But I know the league has discussed being really focused on that and understanding and listening to the players. And this has been a partnership with the PA, walking from step one and what the build out could look like to agreeing on the format just recently. So I'm sure that's a conversation that they will have. And at that point, we'll have more information.
Because what if a player is just uncomfortable playing? What is the rule going to be there? A question that was raised, although he's backed off at some, Adam Silver saying, some of the older coaches might not be able to coach. Well, that includes Greg Popovich. Brian Wright did not say whether Pop wanted to coach or didn't want to coach, but, we know Mike D'Antonio said he wants to coach. Alvin wants to coach. My guess is so to Pop, but, what happens, with
soda pop.
If the league, and then, with the tab, what, how does that hurt the Spurs if Pop isn't able to be on the bench?
All of that is still TBD on how that all plays out. The league is still working with the Players Association on a lot of different things, on the rules that will govern, how we function during that time period to complete the season. So we'll move forward as the league sees fit, and we'll continue to work with them.
I can't imagine them telling Greg Popovich that he won't be able to coach. Now, Pop decides he wants to give one of his younger assistants an opportunity. If Tim Duncan wants to extend his 1,000 winning percentage, best winning percentage of all head coaches in the history of the NBA. I guess that, that's possible, but I have a hard time believing that, that they wouldn't let those 3 coaches participate because of their age. And, that could be like, I don't know, age discrimination.
I mean, I agree with you, but if there's, CDC recommendations or rules or enforcements or whatever, there's obviously that. But you're right. If it's just a matter of, well, we think this, then it's difficult to enforce to any sustainable degree.
Let's think about this. And I should have wrote it down, but it was late. Sports Sunday last night, Don Harris's trivia question. Who is the oldest to ever coach in an NBA game?
Are you asking for guesses now?
I'm asking you to guess, because clearly you didn't watch Sports Sunday last night.
Well, I did not. If I had, I would have written it down. But The late Jerry Sloan?
No. Pledge?
Red Auerbach?
Red Auerbach quit coaching when he was 48 years old.
Wow.
According to Don Harris last night. That's from memory. I didn't write it down. The oldest to coach in an NBA game was Hubie at 71 in 3 months or whatever. 8 months. I forget the exact 71 in months. Greg Popovich, the very first game that they play in this restart will make him the oldest to coach in an NBA regular season game. I was blown away by that because I mean, my guess when Don put the trivia question up, well, Hubie Brown or Jack Ramsey is who I was thinking, but I remember Jack had been out of the game for a while. He was a broadcaster much later, but I thought Hubie coached until his late 70s, but 71 and change, and Pop, when we restart, will end up being the oldest coach to actively coach an NBA team.
That's pretty cool.
That's a milestone for you. You're trading in a 22-year playoff win streak for a record that you had the oldest coach. Is that a fair trade?
I'd say so. I mean, if you're going to trade it for something, that's the thing to trade it for. You know what I mean? The fact that it's the coach that, like, it'd be one thing if it was like a coach, if this was in some random hypothetical Pop's first year with the Spurs, you know what I mean? Like, the fact that it's the same coach is pretty cool.
It is very, very cool and something very special that we've enjoyed in San Antonio and as Spurs fans for a couple of decades. I don't know if you should be making out with your dog like that. If you're watching on Facebook Live, seriously, you got to buy the dog dinner if you're going to. Did you just kiss your dog on the mouth?
No, I'm blowing in his face to keep him distracted so he doesn't bark on the radio.
Well, on Facebook Live, it looks a little bit different.
If you weren't holding him next to the microphone, he wouldn't bark into the mic.
Well, then he'd be eating my foot, and that would not be fun. So then I'd be the one screaming. So
I got you. It's all good. Is it all good between Dez and Jason Witten? We'll get into that and explain some tweets from Dez Bryant targeting Jason Witten when we continue here on the Blitz. In San Antonio, we have some of the hardest water in the country. Having a water softener is not a luxury item. It is a necessity, and I highly recommend you call my friends over at Alamo Water Softeners. I've had a water softener from Alamo Water Softeners for years. It is fantastic. When we moved into the new house, it was the first thing I had installed. And when you work with Alamo Water Softeners, you're working with a great locally owned family-run business. The Townsends are from here. They started the company here. They design and manufacture their equipment right here in San Antonio. And when you call Alamo Water Softeners, not only are you going to get soft water and the best technology from your water softener, you're going to save money. An Alamo Water Softener can double the life of your appliances, and you will see a 20 to 30% savings on energy used by your water heater. Call 210-274-6122. Mention my name, Jason Minix, and you'll receive free basic installation. You'll also get a free reverse osmosis drinking water system with the purchase of select new Alamo Water Softeners. Remember the Alamo Water Softeners, 274-6122 or alamowatersofteners.com.
Hey, don't get left out of the conversation.
I wouldn't be able to sleep at night if you did.
Follow us on Facebook at ESPN San Antonio and on Twitter at ESPN_SA.
And of course, on the go at ESPNSA.com.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM.
It's true, things are bigger in Texas. Check it out, our foods, our sports, and yes, our hearts too. Getting hungry? Go to porkrindrecipes.com and make something big tonight. Award-winning chef Tim Byers and Southern Recipes small batch pork rinds are cooking with heart. Each time you watch or share their newest video, they'll donate $5 to Blessings in a Backpack, helping kids who are food insecure right now. And you can find Southern Recipes small batch pork rinds at HEB. Southern Recipes small batch, it's a different kind of rind.
O'Reilly. This is Derek's O'Reilly Auto Parts story. After the third time jump-starting my car, I finally realized my battery was dying. So I stopped by O'Reilly to have it checked. They tested it right there in the parking lot. It was bad, real bad. But they helped me find the right battery for my car and even installed it for free. Now my car starts like new.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Nobody beats our prices on high-quality performance window tint and expert installation. It's essential to protect yourself and your family from the sun's hot rays and car thieves. Save $100 off regular winter prices when you purchase the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm package. This is a deal. Save $100 off our regular winter prices now at the start of summer. Limited to stock on hand. For 36 years, Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm special. Want to make your car go thump, 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 mother thump? Premium car stereos on sale. Sony, Kicker, JVC, JBL, Diamond, Kenwood, Memphis Audio, all on sale. GPS, remote start systems, all on sale. Save $100 on the Mother's Window Tint and Alarm special. Nobody beats the low prices at Mother's Window Tint, your car, stereo, and auto security headquarters. Mother's Window Tint, home of the Tint and Alarm special. Remember, do it at Mother's and save.
For the ones we trust to always be there. For the ones caring for others. For the ones who keep things going, no matter where they are. In extraordinary times, extraordinary people step up, like the ones standing guard and standing on the front lines, and the ones who are staying apart while still working together. With your efforts, we will get through this. We're grateful for all you do. Visit Grainger.com for resources that can help as you create your recovery plan. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Liberty Mutual Insurance Company presents and Doug.
Limu, when we're not telling people that Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need, I've actually been moonlighting as a DJ. Check it! Here's the good part!
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
It is the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM, ESPNSA.com. Rob has the day off. I'm Jason Minix. RJ Ochoa from loggingtheboys.com and the Saturday Morning Hangover. In for Rob, James Pledger is producing as always. Des Bryant and Jason Witten have issues?
Maybe a little bit. I mean, there's a lot of passion there. I think it's easy to remember a particular sideline in the 3-1-3 way back in 2013. As Des Bryant got painted in a bad way. That happened from time to time with Des, certainly. But, there have – I mean, Jason Witten was at the very least a Garrett guy. We know how Des Bryant feels about those.
He definitely was that, but I mean, I've never heard him come after Jason Witten before. I know he called Sean Lee Snakely at one point, but
Snakely.
Over the weekend, Des Bryant tweeted, "Somebody should have brought Jerry Jones, Stephen Jones, and Jason Witten to this protest down in Austin. This is not a policy change. This is a heart change, and yeah, I said it." Jason Witten, known to be very strong on Twitter.
I think he has like double-digit tweets.
I
think he has like 82 tweets. Yeah.
No pun intended. Pun intended all over the place. He tweeted, "Des, when I saw your tweet, I tried to call you. I don't know what you're feeling, but I do know what I stand for and believe in. I believe it's time for change. I believe we must all listen. I believe together this is the way. Let's unite and impact change together. Much love." I I was stunned that that Dez would go after a guy like Jason Witten, the Las Vegas Raiders tight end. That was weird.
That's a really weird sentence. So I don't know. I mean, it's hard to know what Dez was trying to do or what Dez was doing with his original tweet. Obviously, he was at a protest in Austin, if that wasn't obvious, and, you know, was shedding or was providing his opinion, shedding light on the fact that he believes the Joneses and Jason Witten should have attended, which obviously carries with it an insinuation that they need to attend it for, you know, a number of different potential reasons. But I mean, if here's what I do know. I know the timeline of Dez from the time the Cowboys released him. They released him a week ahead of the 2018 NFL draft. Does anybody know the date, the last time that Dez Bryant started the game? Do you know whose first start came that day?
Who?
Pat Mahomes, when he played week 17 of 2017 after the Chiefs had already clinched everything. Pat Mahomes just played a whatever game as a rookie. But
deep in the weeds.
So Dez had a messy divorce with the Cowboys, you know, said, I can't wait to see them twice a year, intimated that he was going to sign with the Giants because at the time they had Odell Beckham Jr., you know, and then training camp hit. And I believe you were out that day, Jason. I was at Slackers, the Slackadochis location with Rob when the, oh my gosh, reaction went off when he called Sean Lee the Snake. He also called out Travis Frederick, called out Stephen Jones. You know, there was a lot going on there.
But not Jason Witten. And that's what surprises me here is, you know, I'm curious, what is the reason in which Dez Bryant would single out Jason Witten? If you know, Jerry and Steven, for him to take a shot at them is a bit surprising. But when you start thinking about teammates, unless we're misreading this, and if there was one white player on that team that could bridge the gap, it was Jason Witten. So, Jason, you've got to do this. But the tweet doesn't read that way. Not policy change, heart change.
I find the fact that he would take a shot at anybody interesting. Or not interesting, but just weird. I mean, it was like 3 months ago that he was openly campaigning to return to the Cowboys. And that's where I was going with the timeline of everything. I mean, this has seen multiple instances of quote unquote shots fired at the Cowboys for now a variety of reasons, right? First, it was the Garrett guys. Then it was, you know, they're not creative. I mean, you know, he took shots at Scott Linehan, you know what I mean? And then, you know, now it's, I mean, whatever this is, you know, I will say he kind of took a football shot at Jason Witten in some tweets, you know, over the last few months talking about, yeah, I mean, no offense, but, you know, imagine me out there in that role, kind of campaigning to be like a tight end hybrid of sorts. But I mean, this was really random and just kind of out of nowhere. And, you know, and I thought it was also big that Witten was specific in his tweet to say, I tried to call you. You know, making sure everybody knew that he tried to call and that obviously it didn't go through.
Well, I mean that it wasn't answered.
Right, that's
know,
what I meant,
voicemail, and again, for Witten to respond on Twitter, makes me. Again, it's drama about two former Cowboy players. You know that's kind of the interesting thing is no matter what's going on. You know, the Cowboys are going to work their way into the news. I mean, you know, Dak Prescott and, you know, figure out an analogy that brings Dak Prescott's contract into play here. But, you know, you certainly can, especially when you think about comments that Michael Irvin made about Dak Prescott's contract. You know, Michael Irvin went on the Rich Eisen show. And Michael Irvin hasn't changed his stance one bit when it comes to the contract situation with Dak Prescott, because he does feel like this is a guy that needs to get paid, that will get paid. But he brings up back pay. Like all of a sudden that becomes a thing. Like Michael Irvin tells Rich Eisen that the Cowboys owe him back pay.
The defense didn't play well, and Dak statistically puts up his best year. Where usually, people, you put up numbers. I thought that's what this generation was more about, numbers instead of championships.
Wow.
But always, whenever there's a dispute between player and organization, people always get on the player. They always get on the player. Dak has been not great. Dak has been perfect. I mean, perfect. Not necessarily in wins and losses, of course, but I'm talking about just the person that he's been, the kind of investment you want to make, the kind of point, the kind of guy you said, man, we hit it with this guy. We got him in the 4th round. So you stole 4 years. So whatever you get, he deserves, because you still owe him back pay.
Maybe he's just been cooped up too long. I mean, a lot of things Michael Irvin says make sense. Nothing there does.
No, I mean, first of all, you will not find a bigger Dak supporter or stan, whatever you want to call it, than me. You know that, especially if you follow the Blog on the Boys Twitter account. We are quick to defend the Cowboys QB1. And I know, or at least it sounded like Irv was talking about Dak off the field. Off the field, Dak is perfect. Home run, face of your franchise. He has not been perfect as the starting quarterback of the Dallas Cowboys. He's been very good.
Everything except wins, Mike said.
Sure. But still, I mean, you pay very good, but nobody's perfect. But the other thing is, and again, I am of the belief that pay Dak, he deserves market rate, whatever it is, etc. But this idea that, you owe him back pay is ridiculous. It's not the Cowboys' fault that Dak Prescott was a 4th round pick. He was paid fairly for his draft position. That's the reality of it. And maybe that incentivizes him to want more, but it isn't a reality.
Well, can you imagine Lee Steinberg, with Mr. Hunt with Kansas City Chiefs? Well, you got him at number 10. He really should have been a number one.
He was a number one. I mean,
you have had a little bit of back pay here. And let's keep in mind, mock drafts first started coming out, and Mahomes was thought to be a 3rd or 4th round pick. Not a 1st rounder. So, they certainly are going to have to figure that out. And Dak isn't going to sign that thing until he gets every penny that he can possibly get. Jerry wants to hold on to some of those pennies. That's where we're at right now.
We've been going down this road for quite a while. The quarterback, whoever he's up, we've always argued about this, Rich, when we see Kirk Cousins, all of these guys get the money they get. Jimmy Garoppolo got the money he got for 6 or 7 games played. Look at the money Ryan Tannehill just got basically off Derrick Henry. So this has been the business of the quarterback position, and Dak has done everything, and he has won. He has won a lot of football games in his first 4 years. So to say he doesn't deserve the money isn't totally correct. He does deserve the money. That's the market. And he's a starting winning quarterback in this NFL. It's just a matter of getting it done. And I think they'll get it done. It's business. Dak wants every penny, and Jerry wants to try to save every penny. Yep. But mostly, usually those kinds of deals, I always tell people, will get done soon as the slipper fall off Cinderella. 12:01, something will get done, and it'll come in, and Dak will be, for a moment, the highest paid quarterback before Pat Mahomes get here.
And again, Michael Irvin on the Rich Eisen show, he's been cooped up. If they wait till 12:01, they miss the deadline. It's got to get done at 11:59.
Yeah, it's got to get done
58
before
seconds.
the slipper. Yeah, but also that brings up, by the way, this is not my question of the day, but a fundamental flaw in that story, because the whole thing is, right, at midnight, everything's going to disappear, right? How did the glass slipper stay intact? You know what I mean? If everything, disappeared at midnight, the pumpkin or the stagecoach turned back into a pumpkin, how does the glass slipper stay intact past midnight?
It's called a fairy tale. I mean, you understand the premise of a fairy tale.
Yeah, to teach children, and that's teaching them a fundamental flaw.
Yes, I mean, but what else
is a lie?
It's not a lie. If you believe in fairy tales, it
breaks their own defined rules and laws. It does. It is a lie.
Yosemite Sam isn't going to carry a gun anymore. I mean, things change. I mean, it's part of it.
Well, let's wait till 12:01.
11:59. You wait till 12:01, and that's why he's an analyst and not an agent. Could you imagine your agent saying, "All right, sign here. I'm going to fax it in at 12:01. Sorry, you missed the deadline."
Imagine being the player and being like, "What happened?" And he'd be like, "I thought I could get it in at 12:01."
Awesome. We've seen other agents get fired for very similar things of not understanding all the rules. So, if you got somebody managing your money, you want to make sure they certainly know all the rules. We'll get into the RJ's question of the day coming up. Speaking of managing your money, let me tell you about my friends over at Pax Financial Group. At Pax Financial, they know that you want to be financially prepared. In order to do that, you need trusted guidance. At Pax, they believe everybody deserves to be hopeful about their future. They understand what it's like to want to protect your hard-earned money, which is why they've been entrusted by thousands of families for over a decade to provide financial guidance. Could be time just to have Pax Financial Group do a checkup on your portfolio. Is it concentrated in the international markets, especially China? If you were recently laid off, before you withdraw from your IRA, double check with Pax Financial Group. They can help guide your long-term decisions. Call 210-881-5700. If you're thinking about taking Social Security, if you're uncertain, it could be time to have Pax Financial Group do a checkup on your numbers. Connect with Pax, 210-881-5700, or their website, paxfinancialgroup.com. Investment advisory services offered by Pax Financial Group, LLC.
ESPN San Antonio's Dad's Distance and Dough, presented by Southern Recipe Small Batch. Enter to win now at ESPNSA.com and give Dad the best gift ever.
The chance at $1,000.
Plus a year's supply of Southern Recipe Small Batch pork rinds.
If you're a bacon lover, I've got great news for you. This is Michael Kielbasa with Kielbasa Smoked Meats. Our authentic dry-cured bacon is now available at grocery stores near you. We make it the old-fashioned way with the finest pork bellies in our legendary spice blend. We don't pump it full of water or chemicals like other brands. All you get is thick, savory slices of delicious bacon. I hope you'll give it a try, and if it's not the best bacon you've ever eaten, I'll give you your money back. Kielbasa Smoked Meats, slow-crafted in Texas since 1949.
I'd run through a wall for this coach.
Defense on me.
Okay, Petey, don't you drift to the strong side.
Coach, they're calling a holding penalty on me every time.
Did I ask for your excuses? You want to act like a star? You better give me a star effort. Do you hear me?
Forget about him. Allen, you're it. Come on.
All right. Now, I don't want them to gain another yard.
You blitz all night. If they cross the line of scrimmage, I'm going to take every last one of you out. You make sure they remember forever the night they played the Titans. Leave no doubt.
Coach Garrett. Not so much.
You better make yourself comfortable down there. Real comfortable.
1250 ESPN San Antonio and 94.5 FM. All day, every day.
It's the Blitz, 1250 ESPN San Antonio, 94.5 FM. RJ Ochoa in for Rob Thompson. I'm Jason Minix. The Matic McMurphy Irish Sports Bar Twitter feed is open to you. Tweet at me at Jason Minix. Tweet at RJ at RJ Ochoa. Ray Mendez did. He tweets in, back pay is another way I'd say performance. He's been solid, and the fact that everyone forgets how lucky the Cowboys are to have him. Well, I mean, there's a reason he was a fourth-round pick. Back pay is based on performance if you want to look at it. That's why he's in line right now to get this mega contract. That is how the Cowboys are going to reward his performance. He has earned a major contract. You can't say, well, I took you in the fourth round, but you played like a first rounder, so we're going to make up all that money. No, right. Cowboys are in position now because they were able to get where they were with a quarterback on a rookie deal. The Kansas City Chiefs are a prime example of you can afford to go win a Super Bowl with your quarterback on a rookie deal. Seahawks were in the same way. Seahawks haven't won squat since they paid Russell Wilson.
Chiefs too.
And again, the Chiefs. I mean, you got to get it. Texan fans are going to say the same thing when they don't win with Deshaun Watson on his rookie deal. I mean, there's a reason you have to do that. Reason we have to do this right now because, well, we decided to.
He's got questions and pontifications going through his head at all times.
What do you do? A lot of that, did you ever notice kind of stuff?
Yeah. My mind is a raging torrent, flooded with rivulets of thought, cascading into a waterfall of creative alternatives.
So what's on his mind today?
You completely disregard how uncomfortable unresolved issues are for me. It's like an itch in my brain I can't scratch.
RJ's question of the day.
Well, happy Monday, everybody. To be honest, I'm actually just 100% stealing this because I thought it was a great question.
Before you get to your question, your Cinderella question, Lee sends in an answer. With Cinderella or Star Wars, lots of things make no sense. To enjoy, you must have what's called suspension of disbelief and just enjoy the story.
Yeah, that's dumb. That's literally, you have to accept that dumb things will happen and not question them. Also, there is a flaw like that in Back to the Future, but I do overlook that because it's the greatest trilogy of all time. But that being said, this is a real question. It's not hypothetical. It's more of a matter of preference. And I'm just curious. It was on today's episode of Pardon My Take, which features Blake Griffin, who got traded to the Pistons, by the way, when we were in Minnesota on Radio Row. I'll never forget that day. We went and got Juicy Lucy's later that night. The question, when you are out of town, okay, you go on a vacation, whatever the case may be, and let's say you left your house yourself, right? So you drove your car to the airport, whatever, you parked it, you take a flight, whatever. Do you carry your car keys with you when you are out and about? It's like, let's say you go to the Army-Navy game, right? And you leave all your stuff in your hotel. Do you leave the car keys and your house keys or whatever in your bag in the hotel? Or do you carry them around in your pocket like you would normally here in San Antonio?
I would leave them in the hotel. I would not leave them in my bag.
So you would take them out of your bag?
Well, they would never be in my bag. And never, Michael, our last Rock the Mic winner who left his car keys in his checked luggage and that luggage got lost and he was screwed at the airport. Never put your keys in a bag and then check it. That's rule number one.
It's always your backpack. Always carry on.
But once I get to the hotel in the city that I'm traveling to, stuff like that goes in the safe and they don't go back into your pocket till you're going to the airport to go home.
That's weird, man. That's too weird. Like the fact that you're taking it out is taking an unnecessary risk. What I do is I put my keys in my backpack on the little clip thing, and it just stays there. Wherever I go, my backpack's with me.
So your keys are clipped to your backpack, and then you're walking around a city with your backpack, which is dumb, unless you're there for work reasons and need your backpack. But what happens what happens if you get mugged and robbed and they steal your backpack?
I'm usually rolling with you and Rob Thompson. Ain't nobody, approaching that
and again, you have too much to drink and walk out of said bar at the Army-Navy game where it's 10 degrees and you realize you left your coat inside the bar because you're not used to wearing those things. Bad idea. Leave your car keys in your hotel room. You know they're safe.
Nah, keep them in your pocket. You'll always know where they're at.
That's weird. Don't do that.
I mean, if you don't need your keys, why take them?
Despite the sports world stoppage,
the NFL and the Cowboys continue on.
Talks have resumed with the Cowboys and Dak Prescott.
They know they're going